Chapter 358. Yao Lingyu was the current master of the Medicine King Pavilion, a high-level Earth-Sea realm cultivator. He was one of the top figures in the Grand Xia dynasty, but today, he was forced to take 2 steps back by a young man in front of so many civil and military officials. If this matter were to spread, the Medicine King Pavilion would lose all face. No one expected Yang Wu to have such courage. Only Chao Jinda knew that Yang Wu would do such a thing. It was not surprising. Yang Wu was someone who even killed a top barbarian king of the barbarian race. A dragon among men. Chao Jinda sighed in his heart. At the same time, he felt sorry for his daughter. He wanted his daughter to be with Yang Wu, but unfortunately, his daughter's eyes were too high and she missed such a rich husband. General Yang is so powerful, even the master of the Medicine King Pavilion was forced to retreat, a civil official whispered. It would have been better if he did not say it. After he said it, the civil and military officials began to discuss. Heroes come from the youth. Is the Medicine Lingyu Pavilion master afraid of his sharp spirit? General Yang really understands the essence of battle. This first move gave him a bit of an advantage in this challenge. Yao Lingyu shouldn't give in to this junior. Hurry up and teach him a lesson. Let's start the alchemy competition quickly. What's the use of these words? 2 more kings appeared beside Yao Lingyu. They were afraid that Yang Wu would harm Yao Lingyu. What? Are you afraid that I'll kill your master in front of the emperor? I'm not that cruel. Yang Wu smiled faintly. After he said that, he completely withdrew his spiritual force, allowing Yao Lingyu to relax. Yao Lingyu's face turned green and red. He shouted loudly, Yang Wu, I don't want to talk nonsense with you. Let's see who's the real deal in alchemy. Yao Lingyu had realized that Yang Wu was not easy to deal with. He also did not want to be entangled with Yang Wu. The best way was to suppress Yang Wu with alchemy. You know you're in the wrong, right? It's all thanks to His Majesty's tolerance. Today, I'll teach you a lesson on behalf of His Majesty. Yang Wu disdainfully replied. At that moment the Emperor said, All right, let the competition begin. Don't keep everyone waiting. Then he added, Today, I and my beloved ministers will be the witnesses, and Elder Chun and the medicine priest will be the judges. The 2 masters can refine the pill without worry. No matter who wins or loses, I will reward them handsomely. The medicine priest faintly said, For the sake of fairness, the 2 of you will refine the best pills together. Whoever refines the highest grade pill will win. A eunuch announced, The alchemy competition begins. Thus, Yang Wu and Yao Lingyu respectively stood on the left and right side of the open space and began the alchemy competition. Yang Wu, I'll let you see what alchemy is. Those who insult my Medicine King's Pavilion will not have a good ending. Just you wait. Yao Lingyu looked at Yang Wu and said with a fierce expression. Yang Wu directly pointed a middle finger at Yao Lingyu and said, Wait for lightning to strike you to death. Is that so? Then I'll be waiting. Yao Lingyu sneered. After saying that, a cauldron appeared in front of Yao Lingyu. This was a top-grade cauldron made from many kinds of king materials. Moreover, this was the work of the long-dead master refiner Shui Gui. That year, Shui Gui had to use the earth's fire to refine this cauldron. It had extraordinary abilities. If he had used heaven-grade materials, then this cauldron might have been a heaven-grade cauldron. Yao Lingyu did not immediately start refining the pill. Instead, he performed a strange ceremony, as if he was praying something. It was very solemn. Yang Wu disdainfully said, You think you can refine a good pill by pretending to be a ghost? A voice entered Yang Wu's ears saying, This is the blessing to form the pill. This was a spiritual transmission technique. Yang Wu's reaction was incomparably outstanding. He looked at Chun Zhao in front of him and knew that this Medicine King was reminding him. Yang Wu shrugged indifferently and then began to refine the pill. I'll use this opportunity to refine the Qi reversal pill. Yang Wu took a deep breath and secretly thought. The Qi reversal pill was a pill that could allow his father to return to his original realm in one fell swoop. It could also repair his dantian and help him reach the next level. Ordinary alchemists had to have a corresponding realm to improve their alchemy skills. Yang Wu was only at the Earth-Sea realm. Refining a heaven-grade pill was undoubtedly a big challenge. Yang Wu had enough confidence. He had the divine court Dao flower, sufficient spiritual power, and the blue enchantress heart fire. How could ordinary people compare to him? Just as Yang Wu was about to start the fire, Yao Lingyu started first. Pung! A ball of demonic flame jumped in Yao Lingyu's palm. It was a scorpion red flame. Chen Zhao whispered, "Yao Yinhai's famous scorpion flame? Hee, it seems that Elder Chen has a deep impression of it." "That's right, it's the scorpion flame," Yao Lingyu said proudly. The scorpion flame's origin was not ordinary. It came from the sky demon scorpion's beast fire seed. It was very powerful and was very tempting to alchemists. In the past, Chen Zhao and Yao Yanhai's alchemy skills were about the same, but they lacked a high-level flame. Yao Yanhai used the high-level flame to refine a higher-quality pill and defeated Chen Zhao in one fell swoop. Chen Zhao still could not forget it. Over the years, Chen Zhao had also collected a high-level fire seed. But now, Yao Yanhai's fire seed had been passed to Yao Lingyu. This proved that Yao Yanhai no longer needed this fire seed. He might have obtained a higher-level fire seed. This was undoubtedly a big blow to Chen Zhao. Some of the old officials present were fortunate enough to have seen this flame before. They all revealed looks of awe. The sky demon flame was not something that anyone could obtain. Without someone guarding it, there was no way to obtain it. Even if one was lucky enough to obtain it, one needed to have the ability to refine it. Some alchemists were not able to refine the high-level flame and were even killed by the backlash. There were many such cases. Just as Yao Lingyu was feeling proud, Yang Wu's flame was ignited. Yang Wu's blue enchantress had only turned into a small flame, but it released an extremely hot energy. Even the civil and military officials far away could feel the strange heat. At the same time, Yao Lingyu's scorpion flame was greatly disturbed. Its firepower quickly shrank. It was like a commoner meeting a king. There was no way for it to compete with blue enchantress. His flame counters my flame? Yao Lingyu felt that he had lost control of the scorpion flame and exclaimed in his heart. However, Yang Wu had no time to pay attention to him. He began his alchemy show. In an instant, ordinary herbs flew out and kept falling into the medicine cauldron. Blue enchantress was like a fairy. It began to burn on the bronze cauldron. Lines jumped on the bronze cauldron's wall. It began to refine the herbs in the cauldron one by one. Wisps of medicinal fragrance filled the air. Now, no one could remain calm, especially Chen Zhao and Han Qingqian. They were both king pharmacists. Their vision was not something that others could compare to. Chen Zhao lost control and shouted, He's using his spirit to control medicine. General Yang is really a young man. No wonder he became a king pharmacist at such a young age. Han Qingqian sighed. The emperor asked from the side, What do you mean? Your Majesty, only when the spiritual power of the divine court reaches the heavenly realm can one use his spirit to control medicine. This is the symbol of a celestial pharmacist, Han Qingqian replied. A celestial pharmacist. The emperor was extremely shocked. The civil and military officials also heard the conversation. Their pupils constricted. They could not believe that this young man who was almost 18 years old was a celestial pharmacist. Yao Lingyu was even more shocked. He revealed a panicked expression and said, Impossible. This must be a trick. It must be a trick. In the Medicine King Pavilion, only Yao Lingyu's father could reach the level of using his spirit to control medicine. However, he did not reach the level of controlling medicine as easily as Yang Wu. Yao Lingyu specialized in spiritual power, but he had not broken through to that level. However, He actually saw a young man who was not even 20 years old using his spiritual power to control herbs. He could not accept this fact. Yang Wu had already entered a state of full concentration. If he knew that they were so shocked, he would definitely respond innocently. Isn't this the normal way of refining pills? Ever since he started practicing alchemy, he had been doing this because he learned from Little Hay. Although he knew that ordinary alchemists used their hands to throw herbs into the cauldron to refine them, he never thought that using one's spirit to control medicine was a symbol of a celestial pharmacist. Yao Lingyu bit his tongue. The pain woke him up. He took a deep breath and thought to himself, "This is all an illusion. I want to refine a higher-level pill to defeat him." Yao Lingyu got rid of his distracting thoughts and began to refine the pills step by step. Although he was not like Yang Wu who could control the medicine with his mind, he still had a unique method to control the herbs to enter the cauldron in an orderly manner. His scorpion flame began to burn, skillfully refining the herbs. The civil and military officials were all watching attentively. Compared to the two of them refining pills at the same time, Yang Wu's refining was undoubtedly more attractive. It was as if he was performing a kind of artistic creation. Every movement was as smooth as flowing water. Many of the herbs moved without any wind, continuously flying into the cauldron. It was even more pleasing to the eye. The blue enchantress also added to the visual impact. Yao Lingyu's alchemy technique was also very experienced, but there was no harm without comparison. He had already been completely overshadowed by Yang Wu and could only focus on refining pills. "Junior brother, this youth must join our Imperial College," Chen Zhao said to Han Qingqian telepathically. "I can't make the decision on this matter. You should ask him yourself. I feel that this time, the Emperor might not be willing to let him go," Han Qingqian said. Han Qingqian paused for a moment before adding, "Will the royal school be able to accept him, the King of Youth? I can push him up. I believe that he won't refuse," Chen Zhao said with great eagerness. "I heard that he already has a mysterious master behind him. Perhaps he came from the transcendent world. No matter what, I have to give it a try. Perhaps he will make a better choice." Chapter 359. In the large square in front of the palace, there was another inconspicuous corner where someone was secretly watching the alchemy competition. It was Princess Tang Xiaohan who was dressed as a man. Beside her was a palace maid who was hiding in the corner and watching Yang Wu refine pills. Yao Lingyu was automatically ignored by them. Tang Xiaohan was 16 years old and would turn 17 in 2 months. She was elegant and refined, her skin was as white as snow, and she didn't wear any makeup. She was born with an air of nobility and was known as the most beautiful princess of Great Xia. Many young masters of the great clans wanted to marry her, but the emperor hadn't made a decision until Yang Wu's strong return. Only then did he decide to let her marry Yang Wu. Firstly, he wanted to appease Yang Wu. Secondly, Yang Wu was the most outstanding young man in Great Xia and was worthy of the imperial family. Unfortunately, Yang Wu had publicly refused. It had to be said that this was Yang Wu's loss. The first time Tang Xiaohan saw Yang Wu, he kowtowed 100 meters away and returned home, which touched her. Later, she met him again and was frightened by him, thinking that he was gay. But after he left, she found out that she had been deceived. Since then, his shadow appeared in her mind. A handsome and capable young man would always be liked and worshipped by women. Moreover, Yang Wu had a unique and ethereal aura that made people unable to help but fall in love with him. "Prince Consort is so powerful," the palace maid beside Tang Xiaohan softly exclaimed. She did not understand the art of alchemy, but looking at Yang Wu's dazzling movements as if he was performing magic, she felt that he was so powerful that stars appeared in her eyes. Tang Xiaohan's limpid eyes kept looking at Yang Wu. She softly replied, "Don't make a sound, it's not good to disturb him." Her heart was beating very fast. Looking at Yang Wu, it was as if his whole body was glowing, making her unable to extricate herself. She firmly thought to herself, "Only he is worthy of me." As a princess, Tang Xiaoan had always been full of confidence. Even if Yang Wu rejected the marriage, she was not discouraged at all. She also did not blame Yang Wu, because in the beginning, she had also resisted marrying him. Right now, she wanted to use her own efforts to win him over. That was undoubtedly a more joyous and beautiful thing. The civil and military officials present had always thought that Yang Wu had no way to compare with Yao Lingyu, but now they discovered that they were ridiculously wrong. At least in terms of alchemy, Yang Wu had completely defeated Yao Lingyu. However, the path of alchemy was not about looking good, but whether one could successfully refine the medicinal pill in the end. If there was no way to condense the pill, then everything would be in vain. Yao Lingyu was worthy of being a veteran pill king. After he entered the state of mind, he forgot all the pressure from before and concentrated on refining his pill king. This time, he wanted to refine the Earth King pill. Normally, his success rate in refining the Earth King pill was not high. Being able to refine 1 out of 5 batches was already not bad, but under Yang Wu's stimulation, he wanted to succeed in one go and attract the pill lightning. Yao Lingyu's alchemy skills were not weak. He had learned from his father, and his father was a master from the transcendental world. Although he did not receive the full inheritance, he could already do whatever he wanted in the mortal world. After he extracted the essence of many herbs, he threw a demon core into the cauldron and began to activate the flame to refine the demon core. Very good, there are not many losses. I will definitely be able to refine the Earth King pill. At this step, Yao Lingyu let out a sigh of relief and muttered in his heart. He did not relax in the slightest and continued to stare at his cauldron. He must succeed in one go. This time, he had already used up all of his strength to reach this step of refining the demon core in a short 2 hours. If it was under normal circumstances, it would take him 3 hours to reach this step. On the other side, Yang Wu was still refining and had not reached the step of refining the demon core. Everyone was puzzled. Yang Wu's refining speed was at least twice as fast as Yao Lingyu's, but he had not finished refining the herbs he needed. What kind of pill was he going to refine that required so many herbs? If they were to know that Yang Wu's current refining speed had already been deliberately slowed down by several times, who knew how they would feel? Yang Wu did not do it on purpose, but this time, it was a big matter related to his father. He did not want to be careless. He had to refine it to the point of perfection and form the pill in one go. In addition, the amount of herbs needed to refine the Heaven King pill was at least 5 times more than the Pill King pill. Only by fusing the essence of various herbs could it be condensed into a heaven-level pill. At present, Yang Wu had already reached the final stage of refining. He took out more than 10 king herbs, including the 1,000-year ginseng king, earth spirit root, and other precious king herbs. If one of them was damaged, it would be a great loss. He was especially careful and successfully refined these king herbs into the bronze cauldron. Then, it was time to refine the heaven medicine, which was even more precious. He originally had a few heaven medicines, and later, he exchanged them for dragon vine, mist fruit, and other heaven medicines from the medicine hall's warehouse. They were the main ingredients needed to refine the Qi reversal pill. When these heaven medicines were taken out, Chen Zhao and Han Qingqian saw it clearly. Their old eyes narrowed and their expressions were even more nervous than Yang Wu's. They did not dare to make a sound, afraid of disturbing Yang Wu. This kid is really going to refine the heaven pill, Chen Zhao exclaimed with his spiritual will. Han Qingqian nodded and replied, if this pill is refined, he will be the first heavenly alchemist in Xia in 1,000 years. His name will go down in history. The emperor saw all of this and his heart became excited. If Yang Wu can succeed, he can be conferred the title of Marquis and do everything to facilitate the matter between him and Han. No one who could become the emperor was a fool. If he did not try his best to rope in a genius like Yang Wu, he would be too brainless. The others could feel that the herbs that Yang Wu took out were becoming more and more extraordinary. They all realized that Yang Wu was going to play it big, and their hearts became more and more expectant. After a long while, Yang Wu finally refined these few stalks of heaven medicine together. The dense medicinal strength was carefully isolated by him, using his mental power to prevent them from being consumed. After reaching this step, he felt that it was a little strenuous, and the consumption of his spiritual power was not small. Fortunately, his divine court Tao flower was strong enough, and he cultivated the Soul Control Heart Sutra, which allowed him to control his soul power better and reduce unnecessary consumption. Otherwise, his spiritual power would not be able to withstand refining so many herbs. Next, it was time to refine the demon core. If he wanted to make a heaven medicine, he had to be paired with a heaven-level demon core. This was a necessary condition. The value of a heaven-level demon core was extraordinary, and it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to obtain it in the mortal world. Yiqiao Yang Wu had a heaven-level demon core in his hands. It was the heaven-level demon core that he had luckily obtained in the Wolf Smoke Mountain range. He had always wanted to leave this heaven-level demon core for the silver pattern turtle, but now he had to use it first. If he could refine 2 heaven pills this time, it was not impossible to leave one for the silver patterned turtle. Yang Wu threw the heaven-level demon core into the bronze cauldron and burned it. In an instant, the shadow of an ice dragon soared into the sky. Roar! The terrifying power of the heaven-level demon spread out and pounced on Yang Wu. The domineering power was quite terrifying, and the civil and military officials cried out in alarm. That's a flood dragon. What a terrifying flood dragon. This is definitely not an ordinary demon core. It's a heaven-level flood dragon. Heavens, how did Count Xiaowu get his hands on it? Its demon soul will devour him. I never thought that General Yang Wu would want to refine a heaven pill. Is he trying to create a precedent? He's too impulsive. This heaven-level demon core's power is boundless. It will destroy his cauldron's medicinal essence. Under such exclamations, it was impossible for Yao Lingyu, who had been concentrating, not to be disturbed. He glanced in Yang Wu's direction and felt the powerful demon energy. His heart shook. This little bastard wants to refine a heaven pill? The flame in his hand trembled, and he almost destroyed the medicinal herbs he had refined. He quickly gathered his thoughts and refined his king-level demon core at full speed. If heaven pills were so easy to refine, my father would have been a heavenly alchemist. He will definitely fail. Yao Lingyu sneered in his heart. On the other side, Yang Wu was facing the attack of the Ice Flood Dragon's remnant soul. He didn't waver in the slightest. His divine court Tao flower swayed, and the power of the soul eye pulsed in his condensed soul. His powerful spiritual energy directly clashed with the Ice Flood Dragon. Bang! Unknowingly, Yang Wu and the Ice Flood Dragon began to compete with each other. This battle was no less dangerous than a battle between peak kings. The Ice Flood Dragon's demon soul was very powerful. Yang Wu had just used up a lot of spiritual energy, so he couldn't do anything to it. Just as it was about to bite him, Yang Wu's blue enchantress flame burned brightly. This flame was born from his heart, and it could be tangible or intangible. It was extremely powerful. The power of the cauldron patterns on the cauldron quickly crisscrossed. Countless patterns released a terrifying firepower that burned the Ice Flood Dragon's demon core. Roar! Roar! The demon core was burned by the firepower, and the demon soul was disturbed. It roared unwillingly and then slowly disappeared. When the Ice Flood Dragon's demon soul disappeared, not only did Yang Wu let out a sigh of relief, but the people around him also let out sighs of relief. Tang Xiaohan, who was in the corner, kept patting her chest, looking like she was scared to death. The palace maid beside her was also curled up, and her eyes were filled with fear. She was extremely afraid of the ice dragon phantom just now. Alchemy is so scary, the palace maid whispered. Shoo, don't talk, Tang Xiaohan said, making a shushing gesture. They're all strong. Any sound will disturb them. What powerful spiritual energy. Is this kid possessed by an old demon? Chen Zhao said with his divine will. Han Qingqian smiled bitterly. I also want to know if that's the case. He paused for a moment before continuing, perhaps he's gifted. He really surprises me more and more. Whether he can succeed or not, we have to have a good talk with him. Staying here will only bury his talent. Chen Yen said with a firm look. In the center, the Empress held the Emperor's hand and whispered, This child can even deal with the heavenly flood dragon. He's too powerful. Don't make a sound. When this is over, I will ask him for the face-preserving pill. The Emperor replied. All the civil and military officials had seen clearly what Yang Wu had done. Regardless of whether he could refine a heaven pill or not, no one dared to look down on him. It was no wonder that he was so arrogant. It was not without reason. Prince Fuwen, Minister Song, and other people's faces were a bit ugly. Bang! The pill was completed. Chapter 360. The first to condense the pill was naturally Yao Lingyu. He had already finished refining his demon core and was in the final stage of condensing the pill. The reason why he could be so fast was because Yang Wu had forced him into his best state. This time, he only wanted to win, he didn't want to lose. He had already used 200% of his strength and was in his best condition. This time, there would definitely be no accidents when he formed the pill. Condense the pill for me. Yao Lingyu couldn't help but shout. From the beginning, he had been suppressed by Yang Wu. Now, he could finally vent. He withdrew all of his firepower and gathered his dark force and mental strength into the cauldron. He cooled the cauldron and merged the power of the herbs and demon core to complete the last step. A muffled sound rang out, startling the surrounding people. After Yao Lingyu finished, he closed the lid of the cauldron and stepped back. He wiped the sweat from his forehead and looked up to the sky, muttering, Will there be pill lightning? His wish didn't come true. There didn't seem to be any pill lightning. Pill King Ling Yu has already condensed the pill. I wonder if it went smoothly. With Pill King Ling Yu's ability, it's natural for him to condense the pill. I wonder what kind of pill he's refining. Just as everyone was talking, thunder suddenly appeared in the sky. A bolt of heavenly lightning struck down in Yao Lingyu's direction. The power of this heavenly lightning wasn't small. It suddenly struck down, scaring the surrounding people into silence, and hurriedly retreated. The heavenly lightning is coming. Yao Lingyu exclaimed with an excited expression. In the next moment, a figure suddenly appeared and blocked the heavenly lightning. This change caused an uproar among the crowd. The figure that suddenly appeared wasn't a living person, but a copper puppet. It was summoned by Yao Lingyu to block the heavenly lightning. Rumble, rumble! The copper puppet blocked 2 heavenly lightning bolts in a row. Not only was it unharmed, but it could also absorb the power of the heavenly lightning to strengthen its own power. Yao Lingyu revealed a ruthless expression and urged the copper puppet to rush in the direction of Yang Wu. The copper puppet had already attracted the attention of the heavenly lightning. The heavenly lightning had already locked onto it. Wherever it moved, the heavenly lightning would strike. Despicable! Someone involuntarily cursed. Anyone could see that Yao Lingyu's action was to interfere with Yang Wu's alchemy. Such behavior was indeed despicable and shameless, but who would have the nerve to step forward and stop him? This was originally a battle between alchemists. It was not their turn to give orders. The third bolt of heavenly lightning struck down, and its power was even greater than the previous 2. The copper puppet was already beside Yang Wu, and the heavenly lightning struck down as well. It was hard for Yang Wu not to notice. His expression became incomparably ugly. Without giving him time to think, he shouted, "Get out of my way!" Immediately after, he extended his palm and slammed it towards the copper puppet. Yang Wu's power was very strong, but on the one hand, he had to protect the cauldron, and on the other hand, he had to send the copper puppet flying. He hurriedly attacked, hoping that the copper puppet wouldn't get close to him to avoid being affected by the heavenly lightning. The copper puppet was bombarded by Yang Wu's power. Its figure stopped, and the heavenly lightning struck. Rumble! The earth-shattering sound of thunder was deafening, and the power of thunder and lightning splashed left and right like snakes. Strike down a few more heavenly lightning bolts, Yao Lingyu exclaimed, forgetting himself with joy. Unfortunately, it didn't go as he wished. After the 3 heavenly lightning bolts, the sky returned to calm, and no more heavenly lightning fell. This proved that Yao Lingyu's pill had only attracted one wave of pill tribulation. He was considered a one-tribulation pill king. Pill kings that could attract pill lightning belonged to the best of the best. Their value was more than 1 or 2 times that of ordinary pill kings. Yang Wu was affected by the pill lightning. The copper cauldron shook slightly, and some medicinal smell seeped out. The power of the demon core that he had just refined was also completely lost. His body didn't suffer any major injuries. He had a powerful armor to protect him, and could withstand the remaining power of the heavenly lightning. It could be said that he had narrowly escaped a disaster. However, he was furious. He wanted nothing more than to rush over and tear Yao Lingyu apart. He took a deep breath and continued to control the flame of his heart to burn the cauldron, speeding up the refinement of the demon core's power. Chen Zhao hurriedly said, "Yao Lingyu, hurry up and put away your puppet. If you continue to use external objects to interfere with Yang Wu's pill refinement, I'll take it as your loss." Han Qingqian also said, "That's right. With so many witnesses, are you afraid that you can't afford to lose?" The two of them still wanted to see the success of the proof of heaven pill. They definitely wouldn't allow Yao Lingyu to continue using his puppet to interfere with Yang Wu. Yao Lingyu laughed coldly. That was a method to avoid the heavenly lightning. It's not against the rules. He didn't order the copper puppet to attack Yang Wu again. Instead, he summoned it back and had it protect him by his side, giving him a bit of power and influence. Immediately after, he didn't bother with Yang Wu anymore. He believed that the previous attack was enough to affect Yang Wu's state of mind. He went to open the lid of his cauldron, and 2 round Earth King Dawn appeared in front of his eyes. There were faint pill marks on the dawn, and a thick medicinal fragrance pervaded the air. Everyone present could smell it, and they were all intoxicated. The pill king is done. It smells so good. Just what kind of pill is it? I feel like just breathing in it can raise my cultivation by a lot. This is a supreme grade pill king. As expected of the Pill King Pavilion's Pavilion Lord. The value of this pill is definitely not small. 1 tribulation pill king. Let's ask Pavilion Lord Lingyu later if he'll auction it. The civil and military officials were all mesmerized by the pill's fragrance. They couldn't wait to know what kind of pill it was. The emperor also asked curiously, "Lingyu, what kind of pill is this?" Yao Lingyu raised his head proudly and replying to the emperor, "This is the Earth King pill. It can help any king level up." This time, everyone was in an uproar again. They didn't care if it would affect Yang Wu's pill refining. Their eyes became incomparably hot. They couldn't wait to snatch this Earth King pill. In the mortal world, the Earth King pill was the highest grade pill. No matter which power, they would want to obtain it. It could help their own king level up, and their status would rise by a level. Good. As expected of the Pill King Pavilion's Pavilion Lord. Amazing. The emperor couldn't help but praise. There are 2 Earth King pills here. When this matter is over, I will take one out for auction. If your majesty is interested, you can also participate in the auction. Yao Lingyu once again recovered his arrogant expression as he spoke. The emperor was the person with the most authority in Xia, but he actually allowed the emperor to participate in the auction. This slap was like a slap to the emperor's face. He felt incomparably uncomfortable and couldn't say anything. Yao Lingyu knew when to stop and didn't continue speaking. He carefully put away the 2 Earth King pills and smiled proudly in his heart. It's all thanks to this little bastard that forced me to my limit. Before this, his success rate in refining the Earth King pill wasn't high. Moreover, he could only condense 1 pill at most and was unable to attract the pill lightning. This time, he condensed 2 pills and attracted 1 tribulation pill lightning. It was really fortunate. At this time, Yang Wu finally finished melting the Sky Demon core. He began to form seals to force the medicinal herb's essence and the demon core's power to fuse together. At the same time, a large amount of spiritual energy rushed out like a tide and wrapped around the 2 completely different powers. It was the final step of condensing the pill. Condense for me. This series of actions was completed in a few blinks of an eye. He shouted loudly and released an incomparably powerful energy. Opening and closing, he withdrew the firepower. The energy cooled the cauldron, and the cauldron lid was fiercely smashed on. After doing all this, Yang Wu didn't even have time to breathe a sigh of relief when he heard the sound of thunder exploding in the sky. Rumble, rumble! This wave of heavenly lightning came with incomparable speed and terror. It was unknown how many times stronger it was than the one summoned by Yao Lingyu. The heavenly lightning summoned by Yao Lingyu only struck down 1 bolt each time, but the heavenly lightning summoned by Yang Wu struck down 3 bolts at the same time in the first wave. Moreover, the power of the lightning was even thicker. That shocking power was truly terrifying. The civil and military officials were all frightened and retreated in panic. Even the emperor and empress, who were sitting in the best seats, were scared out of their wits. They both cried out in alarm, "Protect the emperor! Protect the emperor!" Seeing that the 3 bolts of heavenly lightning were about to strike down in front of Yang Wu, a small figure barked and bravely rushed toward the heavenly lightning. The heavenly lightning was mighty and the lightning was dazzling. It made everyone unable to open their eyes, so they didn't notice the small figure that suddenly appeared. Needless to say, it was little He who had been lurking. It had waited so long for this moment, so it naturally wouldn't let it go. It was still holding the extraterrestrial thunder stone in its mouth, which attracted most of the lightning power of the 3 bolts of heavenly lightning to strike it. In addition, some of the lightning power also rushed toward Yang Wu and the bronze cauldron. Yang Wu didn't even think about it and activated the 9 Thunders reshaping body technique. When the lightning fell on him, his body convulsed. However, the 9 Thunders reshaping body technique was indeed a special technique that attracted lightning to reshape the body. In an instant, the lightning power was evenly distributed to his meridians, acupoints, blood vessels, internal organs, and bones. The lightning power further stimulated his potential. Yang Wu's body was strong, but he couldn't help but gasp. The pain was obvious. When the 3 bolts of heavenly lightning were done, the next wave of heavenly lightning came, and there were as many as 6 bolts at once. It was as if the imperial palace was going to be completely destroyed. Yao Lingyu, who was not far away from Yang Wu, was scared out of his wits. Fortunately, the bronze puppet knew how to protect its master and stood in front of Yao Lingyu. In fact, it was fine if it didn't move. When it moved, it attracted the power of the heavenly lightning to concentrate on it. The power of the heavenly lightning was much more terrifying than the previous ones, and it exploded into a pile of mud on the spot. Yao Lingyu was affected and screamed. It desperately fled, not daring to come into contact with this wave of heavenly lightning. Only little He dared to face this wave of heavenly lightning head-on. Chapter 361. Little He was originally a celestial hound that had fallen into the mortal world. Its origins were extremely mysterious. After being unsealed by Yang Wu, it had been slowly recovering its strength. The extent of its recovery had a lot to do with Yang Wu's improvement. To it, Yang Wu's improvement was too slow. It wanted to become stronger as soon as possible. Only by being struck by lightning could its seal be unsealed. Only by breaking the shackles of its power would it be able to rush over to resist the heavenly lightning. The power of the heavenly lightning was very strong, and its body was so small. If it were an ordinary spirit demon, a single bolt of heavenly lightning would have turned it into mincemeat. However, its physical body was incomparably abnormal. It withstood the heavenly lightning without being smashed, and only let out a series of miserable cries. Woof woof. It returned to its original form, which was the size of an ordinary adult dog. However, its body was extremely slender, and its black fur was incomparably shiny. A terrifying demonic aura was released, constantly resisting the 6 heavenly lightning bolt. The surrounding people were so frightened that they couldn't see clearly. There was no way for them to see the situation within the heavenly lightning, let alone discover its existence. Yang Wu was also affected. The power of the lightning that splashed over was enough to kill a top-level Earth-Sea realm expert. He was only at the mid-level Earth-Sea realm. Even if he could fight a top-level king, it was still not enough. He didn't activate his armor to defend himself. When his body came into contact with the lightning, his entire body twitched. He felt as if his flesh was scorching. He activated the 9 lightning body tempering technique and guided the power of the lightning over and over again, beginning to temper his body. Lightning was the power of the purest yang. Although his body was spotless and had no impurities that could be removed, it could still temper his body further. Martial cultivation was the process of unlocking the human body's potential. The greater the potential, the greater the explosive power, and the more abnormal the martial strength. Many lightning bolts were distributed over Yang Wu's body, stimulating every part of his body. His meridians and acupoints were all expanded. His internal organs and bones became tougher. The power of his bloodline was awakened. The 1,000 holes in his dantian spewed out wisps of faintly discernible aura, absorbing the power of the lightning into his earth-sea and fusing it into the purest power, helping his Xian Qi to surge. Who would have thought that a person being struck by lightning could also increase his realm? Ah! Help! After Yang Wu received the benefits, not only was he restless, he was also screaming miserably, pretending to be very miserable. Those who heard him would feel sad, and those who heard him would cry. However, the sound of the heavenly thunder's explosion covered his voice. Not many people could hear him, and no one would sympathize with him. Everyone was scared silly and couldn't even take care of themselves. As soon as the second wave of heavenly thunder ended, the third wave of heavenly thunder came down. This time, there were 9 heavenly thunder, which was even more terrifying than before. The entire imperial palace was in turmoil, scaring everyone inside and outside of the imperial palace. The imperial guards were constantly moving closer to protect the emperor. The civil and military officials fled as far as they could, not daring to stay any longer. Princess, run quickly. These heavenly thunders are too terrifying. The little palace maid pulled Princess Tang Xiaohan and cried out in a sobbing voice. They were far away, but the sound of the heavenly thunder still made them dizzy, and it was difficult for their ears to hear anything. Tang Xiaohan didn't move at all. She looked at the place where the heavenly lightning had engulfed, and her face was filled with worry. Please don't let anything happen to you. Please don't let anything happen to you. Tang Xiaohan prayed in her heart. She really wanted to rush over and undergo the tribulation with Yang Wu, but she suppressed this impulse. If she rushed over, it would only be more of a hindrance than help. The only ones present who weren't too panicked were the 2 medicine kings, Chen Zhao and Han Qingqian. Aside from their expressions being moved, they didn't show the slightest trace of panic. They were both medicine kings and knew that the pill lightning only targeted the medicinal pill that was refined, as well as the alchemist who refined the pill. It wouldn't strike other people for no reason. They stood up and stared at the heavenly thunder that kept striking down. They wanted to witness the birth of the youngest heavenly alchemist in history. They couldn't say anything. They had never experienced such a situation before, so they couldn't understand what it felt like to be struck by so many heavenly thunder. If they were in the middle of it, they would definitely die. This was also the reason why Yao Lingyu had a lightning blocking puppet by his side. Alchemists like them didn't have outstanding combat talent, so they couldn't withstand the bombardment of heavenly thunder, especially this kind of extremely rare heavenly thunder. Yao Lingyu had already escaped to a safe place. He looked at the heavenly thunder that was pouring down and cursed in his heart, "Strike him to death, strike him to death." He didn't think that Yang Wu was in the heavenly fish realm. If an alchemist hadn't reached the heavenly fish realm, it was undoubtedly a fool's dream to want to block the heavenly thunder. No one else could bear all the karma for the alchemist. Unfortunately, no matter how hard he tried, it was useless. Although Yang Wu looked battered and exhausted, he wasn't dead, and he wouldn't die. Under the third wave of 9 heavenly thunder, the area around Yang Wu was bombarded into a deep pit. The bronze cauldron exuded waves of ancient aura. When it was struck by the heavenly thunder, it didn't explode because of it. It still stood steadily on the ground without any damage. This was a powerful ancient cauldron that had been baptized by countless heavenly thunder. This heavenly thunder was just child's play. Little Hay, who was in the middle of the heavenly thunder, kept roaring. It sounded like it was screaming, but it also sounded like it was shouting excitedly. It had all kinds of emotions. Yang Wu used the 9 Thunders reshaping body technique to further strengthen his body. The injuries caused to his body were almost negligible. The power released from his dantian quickly healed these injuries, leaving no scars. The power in his dantian was still growing. It was more powerful than the power he had accumulated in 1 or 2 months of cultivation. The Tao flower in the divine court was also swaying. His spiritual power was stimulated by the heavenly thunder. It didn't grow, but it was refined, becoming purer and more solid. It could be said that this heavenly thunder reshaping body technique was very beneficial to him. When the 9 heavenly thunder finished, the sky quietly returned to normal. Little Hay still wasn't satisfied and shouted, "Why is it only 1 heavenly thunder? The power to unseal is less than 1/10,000th. It didn't continue to linger. It quickly shrunk its body and hid. No one could discover its existence. Yang Wu's body was still rippling with the remaining power of the heavenly thunder. The walls of the bronze cauldron were surrounded by thunder fire. The ground around him had cracked into craters. It could be said that he was in a sorry state. Everyone gradually came back to their senses. They looked in Yang Wu's direction and narrowed their eyes. Yang Wu looked up to the sky and shouted, "Why is there so little heavenly thunder power? It's too little. Can't there be a few more waves?" When everyone heard his shout, they almost fainted. They all exclaimed in their hearts, "Count Xiaowu isn't afraid of being struck by heavenly thunder." Yao Lingyu thought that it was an illusion. He clenched his fists and cursed, "How did this little bastard do it? It's as if nothing happened." "The heavenly pill is completed?" Chen Zhao and Han Qingqian exclaimed in joy. Yang Wu cursed a few more times. He was indeed a little disappointed when he didn't see any more heavenly thunder. The power of the heavenly thunder just now had been attracted by Little Hay using the thunderstone from outer sky. Less than 1/10th of the heavenly thunder landed on him, which was why he was able to withstand it easily. If the thunderstone from outer sky was on him, he would definitely be bombarded by the heavenly thunder like Little Hay. He wouldn't be able to run and shout like he was now. The Emperor and the Empress returned to their seat. There was a celestial fish realm eunuch by their side to protect them. The Emperor wiped away his cold sweat and asked, "Is the heavenly thunder over?" "Your Majesty, the heavenly thunder should be over," Han Qingqian replied. That's good, that's good." The Emperor sighed in relief. The Empress asked curiously, "What level of heavenly thunder pill is this? Is it a success?" "Your Majesty, Earl Xiaowu should have made a heavenly pill. There was heavenly thunder, so the pill should be complete," Han Qingqian replied. "Good, good. Show it to us." The emperor and empress were both overjoyed. The civil and military officials gathered once again. When they saw Yang Wu, they couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. How did Earl Xiaowu survive such terrifying heavenly thunder? The heavenly might is unpredictable and irreversible. But Earl Xiaowu ignored it all. He's really a genius. Even if a heavenly realm elite was there, they might not be able to withstand that heavenly thunder easily. The heavenly thunder King Lingyu attracted is just child's play compared to it. There's no comparison between the two. It seems that Earl Xiaowu has made an extremely powerful heavenly thunder pill. In the corner, Princess Tang Xiaohan waved her fists and murmured excitedly, "We got through it, we got through it. The prince consort is so powerful." That's right, that's right. The prince consort is so powerful. Only the princess is worthy of him, the little palace maid said excitedly. Yang Wu had already disobeyed the emperor's orders. They called him that because they recognized Yang Wu's existence. Yang Wu tidied up his tattered clothes and walked towards the furnace. He had an expectant look on his face as he muttered, "There shouldn't be any accidents, right?" He didn't care about the results of the competition. He cared more about whether or not the heavenly thunder pill could be refined. This was related to whether or not his father could recover his cultivation. When the lid was opened, a faint light emerged from the furnace. A strong medicinal fragrance filled the air. This was the pill light and pill fragrance. It was the sign of the heavenly thunder pill being formed. Everyone looked at the pill light and smelled the pill fragrance. They were intoxicated, as if they had absorbed the heavenly thunder pill. It was a wonderful feeling. "Oh, I want this heavenly thunder pill. I think eating it can increase my lifespan by 100 years. The emperor couldn't help but say. Even the emperor lost his composure, let alone the others. They wanted nothing more than to rush over and snatch the heavenly thunder pill from the furnace. Chen Zhao said with tears in his eyes, "I never thought that I would be lucky enough to see the birth of the youngest heavenly thunder alchemist in history. It's really a blessing." Han Qingqian also said emotionally, "A new generation replaces the old. From now on, Great Xia has a heavenly thunder alchemist named Yang Wu." Chapter 362. Now that the two alchemists had finished refining, it was time to determine the winner and loser. Anyone with a discerning eye could see who had won this competition, but before the final result was announced, everyone was still looking forward to it. "My two beloved ministers, please present your pills and let's see who won and who lost," the emperor said faintly as he tidied up his appearance. Yang Wu had already used a jade bottle to store the 3 pills in the furnace. Each pill had a very obvious pill pattern, proving that it was a one tribulation heaven pill. Every 3 lightning strikes was a tribulation. Yang Wu's elixir and Yao Lingyu's elixir were both one tribulation elixir, but there was a huge gap between the two. There was no comparison at all. Yang Wu was just about to present his heaven pill when Yao Lingyu coldly snorted and said, "This round counts as my loss, but Yang Wu, don't be so smug." After saying that, he actually ignored the emperor and the civil and military officials. He turned around and walked towards his flying crane couch, ready to leave. How could Yang Wu let him leave so easily? In a flash, he was already in front of Yao Lingyu and said, "Pavilion Master of the Medicine King's Pavilion, you're losing your poise. I've already admitted defeat. What else do you want? Do you really think my Medicine King's Pavilion is easy to bully?" Yao Lingyu said as he glared at Yang Wu with dissatisfaction. "I already said that you're a traitor. The emperor asked us to present our pills, but you just threw down a sentence and left. This is a great disrespect to the emperor, and you still have reason?" Yang Wu shouted at Yao Lingyu in front of everyone. Yao Lingyu's face turned green and red. He couldn't wait to strangle Yang Wu to death. He turned to the emperor and cupped his hands and said, "Emperor, Lingyu consumed a lot of energy to refine the pills. I'm also willing to admit defeat. Lingyu will withdraw first." Without waiting for the emperor to agree, he prepared to slip away again. Yang Wu stopped him again. He said angrily, Yang Wu, do you want to start a war? Haha, this competition was instigated by your Medicine King's pavilion. Now that you've lost, you have to fulfill your promise. In the future, your Medicine King's pavilion can forget about taking half a step into the Medicine Hall storehouse. Do you hear me clearly? Yang Wu said with a smile. Yao Lingyu really wanted to give Yang Wu a few punches, but he still forced himself to endure. He coldly snorted at Yang Wu and said, All right, from now on, no one from the Medicine King Pavilion will step foot into the Medicine Hall storehouse. Then, he wanted to leave quickly. He didn't want to stay here for even a moment longer. He had already lost all his face. Yang Wu did not intend to let him go. Once again, he stood in front of him and said, Your Excellency, I know that you are not convinced and will definitely take revenge on me. However, I advise you not to have any bad ideas. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences. After so many years, you are the first person to threaten me. Xiaowu Count, you are very good. Yao Lingyu took a deep breath and responded. He avoided Yang Wu and smoothly flew towards his soft couch. Yang Wu's voice sounded again, Your Excellency, this is the Imperial Palace. You are not allowed to fly. The Crane King, who was just about to take off, was pressed down by Yao Lingyu. He had no choice but to crawl out slowly. Yao Lingyu clenched his fists tightly as he cursed in his heart, If I don't kill this little bastard, I swear I am not human. Yao Lingyu's group smoothly left the Imperial Palace. The competition for the alchemist position came to an end just like that. Beloved Minister Yang Wu is good, haha. The Emperor clapped his hands and praised Yang Wu. The surrounding civil and military officials, whether they were willing or not, all followed suit and applauded. Yang Wu ostentatiously waved his hand at the Emperor and the others. His face revealed a righteous expression as he said, Anyone who dares to be disrespectful to the Emperor is Yang Wu's enemy. Even if Yang Wu dies, I will still reprimand them. It would have been better if he didn't say this. After he said this, the civil and military officials all felt their internal organs churn. They wanted to vomit on the spot. They had seen many shameless people, but it was definitely the first time they had seen someone as shameless as Yang Wu, who didn't know that he had repeatedly defied the imperial edict when he just returned to the imperial city. He actually had the face to say this in front of everyone. His skin was so thick that no one could compare to him. The Emperor pretended not to understand and continued to praise Yang Wu. That's right. Beloved Minister Yang Wu is a loyal minister worthy of everyone to learn from. Beloved Minister Yang Wu, quickly bring your Dan for Zhen to see. Yes, Your Majesty. Yang Wu didn't refuse and handed over a Dan for a eunuch to present. The eunuch brought the Dan to the Emperor and Empress. They looked at each other and revealed expressions of amazement. This Dan was round like a work of art. The dazzling Dan pattern released an alluring color, giving people the feeling of wanting to swallow it on the spot. They looked at it for a while before passing it to Chen Zhao and Han Qinqian. Chen Zhao and Han Qinqian were even more excited than them. Can the two of you take a look at what level this Dan is? The Emperor asked the two of them. Chen Zhao first praised in surprise. This Dan is undoubtedly a heaven Dan. From the Dan light and Dan fragrance just now we can determine that. Looking at this Dan pattern, it's obviously a heaven Dan pattern. It's something that Dan King's Dan pattern can't compare to. After the civil and military officials heard that it was a heaven Dan, there was another uproar. This meant that Yang Wu had become the youngest heavenly alchemist in the history of the Great Xia. He was also the only heavenly alchemist in the Great Xia. Even the old hall master of the Medicine King's hall might not have reached this step. Han Qinqian added, That's right. The Heaven Dan pattern is incomparably clear and distinct, and it even contains a trace of heaven's might. Consuming it will yield great benefits, but I can't tell what kind of Dan this is. Let's have Count Xiaowu explain it to us. Yang Wu said without hesitation, This is the Qi Reversal Dan. Aside from being able to cleanse the marrow and meridians, it can also reverse the damaged Dantian and restore the Dantian to its peak. If an Earth-Sea Realm King consumes it, they can at least advance 2 levels. It's even effective for Heaven Realm experts. After he said this, no one could remain calm anymore. The Qi Reversal Dan's medicinal effects were so powerful. If they could obtain one, it wouldn't be difficult to nurture a Heavenly Fish Realm expert, but it wouldn't be difficult to nurture a top-notch king. General Luo Gongming opened his mouth and said, I wonder if Count Xiaowu's Dan can be traded? This old man is very interested. Count Xiaowu, this official also wants it. Name a price. Another old official also loudly shouted. Count Xiaowu, this official and your Yang family are old friends. Your grandfather is also my mentor. Considering the friendship between our 2 families, trade the Dan to me. I also want it. Count Xiaowu, name a price. Even if I have to go bankrupt, I still want it. The civil and military officials all scrambled to be the first to shout. There was no longer any solemn atmosphere. The appearance of a Heaven Dan pill was definitely a rare occurrence in the mortal world. The Emperor naturally couldn't remain calm. He loudly said, Silence, silence. What are you all shouting about? Are you not putting me in your eyes? After he spoke, the officials all quieted down a little. However, their eyes were not restless at all. They were all focused on Yang Wu. At this moment, Yang Wu's radiance had already overshadowed the Emperor. If it was in the past, the Emperor would definitely be unhappy. However, he didn't mind now. The Heavenly Alchemist already had the qualifications to be on equal footing with him. What else could he say? Yang Wu faced everyone's reaction and said incomparably calmly, Everyone, don't count on it. Yang Wu is prepared to offer this Dan pill to the Emperor. Long live the Emperor. After he said this, he bowed 90 degrees. Even if the civil and military officials were slow, they also bowed and shouted, Long live the Emperor. They weren't Yao Lingyu. How would they dare to challenge the Emperor's dignity? The Emperor's face smiled like a chrysanthemum. It was so dazzling and bright. He repeatedly said, Good, 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 I didn't misjudge you. This was definitely the happiest day for him in recent years. Who would have thought that the young Medicine King, who disobeyed the Emperor's orders, suddenly changed his temperament and offered him a Heaven Dan pill? This Dan pill was priceless. It was priceless. Yang Wu said in a dignified manner, As a citizen of Daxia, this is what this minister should do. Today, he naturally had his own reasons for offering the pills. He already had enough enemies. If he appeased the Emperor first, he wouldn't have too many worries. His Yang family would at least be safe for a short period of time. Then, he would be able to do what he wanted to do without fear. Who knows, the Emperor might even help him. Among the civil and military officials, Prince Fuan and Prime Minister Song looked gloomy. They realized that Yang Wu was too scheming. He was like an old fox, not easy to deal with. At the same time, they all felt a sense of crisis. They were afraid that Yang Wu will come to deal with them at any time. Well said, Yang Wu, my beloved subject, listen to the Emperor's decree. Today, my beloved subject has become a heavenly alchemist. You are the youngest heavenly alchemist since the founding of Daxia. You are also the only known heavenly alchemist. I hereby confer you the title of first-rank Marquis. I also confer you the title of Heavenly Alchemist. You will also be rewarded with 10,000 gold taels, 10 low-grade Xian spirit stones, a set of flood dragon robe, a piece of 7-patterned purple jade, and 3 pieces of royal armaments. The Emperor was very happy. He gave a series of rewards to Yang Wu. Only those who have made countless contributions to Daxia can become a Marquis. Yang Wu also became the youngest first-rank Marquis in history. He can almost be compared to a prince. The other rewards were also very rich, but for a heavenly Dan, it was nothing. Yang Wu knelt down on one knee and said, Thank you, Your Majesty. The civil and military officials all revealed looks of envy. Some of them had been officials for most of their lives but had never been able to obtain such glory. Yang Wu, on the other hand, had relied on a single alchemy competition to obtain the glory that they yearned for but were unable to obtain. It was truly infuriating to compare oneself to others. From today onwards, they all knew that Yang Wu had become the most noble young lord in Daxia. They must not look at him with the same eyes as before. They must curry favor with him. At the same time, they thought that Medicine King Hall would not let this matter go. They wanted to see what kind of reaction Medicine King Hall would have in the future. No matter what, they felt that Yang Wu had an unstoppable momentum. It was as if they saw a flood dragon rising to the sky and turning into a heavenly dragon, roaming the 9 heavens. Chapter 363. The Medicine King Pavilion was built in a blessed land in the east of the city by mountains and rivers. It already formed the atmosphere of a city within a city. Most of the people who lived here were alchemists as well as alchemists' followers. The environment here was elegant, and the heaven and earth spiritual energy was rich. It was stronger than a blessed land in the imperial palace. Yao Lingyu sat on his flying crane soft couch and returned to the pavilion. He did not return to the main hall, but directly charged to the pavilion's forbidden area. That was the place that belonged to his father's closed-door cultivation. This place was the back mountain. There was an immortal's cave dug in the belly of the mountain. In front of the immortal's cave, there was a thick iron door. There were even king-level guards guarding here. After Yao Lingyu arrived here, there were 4 king-level auras that locked onto him. Yao Lingyu opened his mouth and said, "It's me." After those kings saw Yao Lingyu, they withdrew all of their auras. Yao Lingyu came in front of the thick iron door and said faintly, "Father, this child requests an audience." After he said this, his body kept bowing. There was no response from the iron door for a long time. He did not dare to stand up straight either. After about 15 minutes, a sonorous voice rang out from inside and said, "What's the matter?" Accompanying this voice, there was an incomparably violent aura that swept out from the iron door, pressuring Yao Lingyu until he was somewhat unable to breathe. A heavenly alchemist called Yang Wu appeared in the capital. This child competed with him and completely lost to the other party, Yao Lingyu reported. Yang Wu, a heavenly alchemist? Where did this old monster come from? The person behind the iron door asked. Not an old monster. The other party is merely a youth who is not yet 20 years old. Then is he a prodigy from the transcendent world? Not either. He's someone from the Yang family, Yao Lingyu responded and reported the situation he learned to his father one by one. The Yang family has never been restless. Don't act rashly for the time being. Wait for me to come out of seclusion, then recruit him, the person behind the iron door said. I'm afraid he won't accept the recruitment. If he doesn't accept, then get someone to kill him. In the imperial palace, the civil and military officials had already returned home. Everything returned to tranquility. However, the news regarding Yang Wu spread like a storm. Yang Wu's reputation was destined to rise to another level, becoming the center of attention in the royal city. At this time, Yang Wu was not able to go back. Instead, he was summoned to the back pavilion by the emperor. Only the emperor and Yang Wu were alone in the hall. The emperor asked Yang Wu, Marquis of Taoist Master, if you have any other requests, just say it. There is no one else here. I also want to hear your thoughts. This was the first time that the emperor had met Yang Wu. He had already realized that Yang Wu was unstoppable and could not be treated like before. Your Majesty, you have already given me such a great reward, how could I dare to ask for more? Yang Wu politely replied. Are you still trying to test me? I can tolerate you disobeying the imperial decree, so I can tolerate you making some requests. The premise is that you don't make it too difficult for me. The emperor said bluntly. It's this humble subject's fault. Please forgive me, Your Majesty. Yang Wu replied. After a pause, he said, "Can this humble subject really make another request? I have already made it clear enough," the Emperor said in a deep voice. "Then this humble subject wants the right to use the herbs in the medicine hall's warehouse," Yang Wu said. I made you the honorary medicine priest, which means that you have the right to dispose of the herbs in the medicine hall's warehouse. You still haven't opened your heart to me." The Emperor sighed with a smile. After a pause, he said, "When you came back from the border, you were holding back a lot of resentment. I don't believe that you have completely forgotten it." Yang Wu's eyes flashed and said, "Then this humble subject will boldly say it. I want to take revenge. I don't know if the Emperor will allow it?" The Emperor stood up and said with his hands behind his back, "Your Yang family is a loyal family. I was also at fault for that matter. Can't you let it go? Your Majesty may not know, but I was once beaten into a cripple. If I wasn't lucky enough to be chosen by my master, who reshaped my dantian and taught me a cultivation method, I'm afraid that I would have already died in the mountain prison. My family wouldn't have had a good ending either. Ordinary people say that, if the Emperor wants the subject to die, the subject has no choice but to die. But my Yang family was not the Emperor's fault. The Emperor was just deceived by that villain and let that villain succeed. Now that Yang Wu is lucky enough to return to Imperial City, I don't have much ambition. I just want to vent my anger, so I ask the Emperor to allow it." Yang Wu said seriously, "What do you want to do to vent your anger?" The Emperor asked again. "I'm not a ruthless person. As long as the people who harmed me get the punishment they deserve, it's enough." Yang Wu calmly said, "What if they don't agree?" "If they don't agree, I can only punish them myself. Let Zhen think about this matter and come up with a solution that everyone is satisfied with." The Emperor knew Yang Wu's bottom line and did not continue to pester him. He changed the topic and said, "What do you plan to do next?" "Why does your Majesty ask this?" Yang Wu asked back. "You already have a master. Your master doesn't plan on taking you to another world to develop?" the Emperor asked. In reality, he was also worried. Once Yang Wu became successful, he didn't know if he would become another Medicine King's Hall. Yang Wu was smart and could feel the Emperor's thoughts. He smiled and said, "Right now, it's not bad in Imperial City. If there's a chance, I want to try to become the martial arts champion. My Yang family first has a scholar and then a martial arts champion. That way, we'll really have both scholar and martial arts. My parents will also be gratified." "Your way of thinking is different. With your current strength, becoming the martial arts champion will be as easy as taking something out of your bag." The Emperor smiled and then said, "This wish is very simple. As long as you join the Imperial School, it'll be fine. I just don't know if you're interested?" "Of course, I'm not joking. When the Imperial School holds a martial arts competition, I'll definitely participate," Yang Wu said with a face full of excitement. He didn't feel that stepping on those weak geniuses was a shameful thing. Instead, he felt proud of it. "All right, Elder Chen will definitely do this for Zhen. Zhen will ask you again. Do you really not plan on marrying Zhen's daughter? She's an outstanding beauty." The Emperor changed the topic again. Once upon a time, a monarch would be so polite to a subject. Yang Wu revealed an embarrassed expression and said, "To be honest, this subject already has a sweetheart, so I can only disappoint your Majesty's good intentions." "What does that matter? Which man doesn't have 3 wives and 4 concubines? As long as you don't wrong my daughter, it's fine," the Emperor said generously. He was only so open-minded towards Yang Wu. Other prince consorts could only marry one princess in their lifetime. However, Yang Wu was a heaven's alchemist. The appeal of a heaven's alchemist was bound to be extraordinary. Furthermore, he was so young and had a boundless future. No matter who it was, they would first have to form a relationship with Yang Wu. There were many benefits. Yang Wu tactfully refused and said, "I still can't wrong the princess. All right, Zhen won't interfere with you anymore. However, if Zhen's daughter pursues you, you definitely can't reject her. Otherwise, Zhen will not let you have an easy time even if Zhen uses the power of Xia," the emperor said solemnly. Following that, the emperor nagged a few more words before sending Yang Wu away. Before Yang Wu left, he didn't forget to mention that he had offended the second prince. The emperor only replied with a single "understood." The pitiful second prince was still thinking about revenge. However, he didn't know that he would soon be put under house arrest by his imperial father. From then on, he would treat Yang Wu like a venomous snake. After Yang Wu came out of the back hall, the empress walked towards him. Yang Wu quickly took out the face-preserving pill that he had prepared and offered it to her. "Empress, this is the face-preserving pill that this official has prepared for you." The empress was overjoyed. She couldn't wait to receive it and praised, "Marquis Xiaowu still remembers this one. Very good." After pausing for a moment, she pulled out a beautiful woman beside her and said, "Come, Marquis Xiaowu. This one will introduce you. This is this one's precious Princess Xiaoan. You two have a good chat. This one will go and try this pill." Originally, the empress wanted to have a good talk with Yang Wu and let him interact with Tang Xiaoan. However, she was more concerned about her appearance now and didn't have time to care about young people. Only Yang Wu and Tang Xiaoan were left at the scene. The atmosphere had become a bit subtle. Yang Wu couldn't help but look at Tang Xiaoan, who had already changed into women's clothing. She was like a flower bud that was about to blossom. She looked incomparably fresh and tender. That spotlessly white face seemed like it could drip water. Her beautiful eyes rippled with spring, like the blue waves in a clear pool. It was very gentle and moving. She wore a purple robe that perfectly outlined her well-developed figure. No matter from which angle, she was like the most beautiful scenery, deeply attracting people. Tang Xiaohan felt Yang Wu's burning gaze and revealed a trace of bashfulness. A bit of blush appeared on her tender face, adding a bit of charm to it. Yang Wu came back to his senses and lightly coughed before saying, "Yang Wu greets Your Highness the Princess." Then he said in an unromantic manner, "It's getting late. Yang Wu will leave first." Tang Xiaohan was annoyed. She puffed out her cheeks and asked, "Marquis Yang Wu, do you hate me?" "No, the princess is so beautiful. I hate anyone but you," Yang Wu truthfully replied. "But why are you in such a hurry to leave?" Tang Xiaohan asked back. "It's getting late. It's time to go home and eat." Yang Wu spread out his hands and said, "Come with me. I'll have the servants make you something good to eat." Tang Xiaohan used her noble status as a princess and ordered Yang Wu. "That's not very good." "What's not good about it?" "Unless you look down on this princess." Yang Wu doesn't dare. "Then hurry up and leave. A big man being so fussy will make people look down on you. Could it be that you're worried that I'll eat you?" Tang Xiaohan said domineeringly. Then she twisted the little man's waist and walked towards her courtyard. Yang Wu looked at Tang Xiaohan's moving back and sighed in his heart. "I finally understand what Lu Ji meant when he said that being handsome is a sin." At home, Lu Ji inexplicably sneezed and lightly scolded, "Who's talking bad about me behind my back?" Chapter 364. The garden was filled with blooming flowers. This was the scenery of the elegant bamboo courtyard where the princess lived. At this time, the sun was already setting in the west. Strands of bright red light fell onto the flowers, giving them a layer of sparkling and translucent color, making them appear even more gorgeous. In front of a pavilion, there were palace maids walking back and forth. Plates of exquisite pastries were placed on a stone table. There were a total of 10 pastries and hot tea. These palace maids quickly withdrew from the pavilion like a tide, leaving behind a young man and woman sitting across from each other. This young man and woman were like a golden boy and jade girl. The young man was handsome and had a heroic spirit. The young woman's eyes were beautiful and her skin was like jade. Their appearance was so outstanding that it was enough to make any young man or woman jealous. "This is the feast you were talking about?" The young man wearing a navy blue robe pointed at the exquisite pastries in front of him and asked. The young girl's beautiful eyes blinked as she softly replied, "That's right. Normally I only eat 4 or 5 pastries by myself. This time I had the servants bring out 18 portions. Isn't that enough for you?" It really is enough." Yang Wu was a bit speechless as he replied. He then grabbed a pastry and stuffed it into his mouth. There was nothing to say about the taste of this pastry, but it was too small. A single piece was not enough to block his mouth. He swallowed it in 2 or 3 bites and then threw the other pastries into his mouth, not caring about his image at all. Yang Wu being like this in front of the princess could be said to be rude, but he did not care. He wanted to be rude and vulgar so that the princess would have a bad impression of him and break off her entanglement. It was not that he had a bad impression of Tang Xiaohan. In fact, she was very beautiful and made his heart move. But being moved did not mean he would act. He really had a sweetheart, so how could he be so lenient? He did not dare to easily cross the line again. Yang Wu did not know that his appearance was very intimate in Tang Xiaohan's eyes. She held her cheeks as she stared at him, as if she was admiring something beautiful. Yang Wu continuously ate 7 or 8 pastries. He felt Tang Xiaohan's gaze and his old face became hot. He swallowed the pastries in his mouth and said, "Your Highness, can you not look at me like this? I like men." Yang Wu used his ultimate move, hoping that Tang Xiaohan would back off. "Do you think I will believe you?" Tang Xiaohan blinked her big eyes and said, "Why wouldn't I believe it? You're such a big beauty in front of me, yet I'm not interested. This proves that I like men." Yang Wu said confidently. "Really?" Tang Xiaohan asked softly. Then, she gave Yang Wu a flirtatious wink. She moved her body slightly and revealed a charming appearance. She was so charming that all the flowers in the garden paled in comparison. Yang Wu's Adam's apple rolled, and his gaze became straight. A living beauty was posing in front of him in such a seductive manner, and his masculine blood kept surging up. Tang Xiaohan plucked up her courage and approached Yang Wu. A faint fragrance entered Yang Wu's nostrils. Yang Wu nervously said, What are you doing? Am I beautiful?" Tang Xiaohan charmingly asked in a small voice. Actually, she was even more nervous than Yang Wu. This was the first time she took the initiative to approach a man. "Very beautiful," Yang Wu honestly replied while nodding his head. "Then do you like me?" Tang Xiaohan said with a red face. At this time, her face was even redder than the setting sun. She was so beautiful that she could not be scented. Yang Wu looked at the delicate and flawless face in front of him. He swallowed his saliva and blurted out, "I like you." When he said this, he regretted it. He could not help but slap himself and change his words. "Princess, please have some dignity. Your body is priceless." Tang Xiaohan stood up and turned around in a circle. That moving body was clearly visible. She let out a silver bell-like voice. "Hee, you just said that you like me. You even said that you like men before. You're lying to a 3-year-old child." When Yang Wu heard this, he gave himself 2 more slaps and said with a depressed expression, "All right, Your Highness, I'll be honest with you. Actually, I'm so handsome and capable. I'm also the strongest alchemist since the founding of the country. There are countless girls that like me. I'm also very fickle in love, so I'm thinking for the princess. That's why I disobeyed the edict. Otherwise, who wouldn't want to marry such a beautiful wife, princess? Unless that person's brain is fried." "That's right, you're that brain-fried person." Tang Xiaohan glared at Yang Wu and angrily said. Then she revealed a sad expression and said, "Be honest, do you have someone in your heart?" "I guess so." Yang Wu replied with a bit of embarrassment. "Is she prettier than me?" "They're about the same." "Oh right, she has a runny nose." "Then she must be very cute?" "No, she's very troublesome. She often does bad things with good intentions. I remember one time when I went to the river to catch fish with her. We clearly caught all the fish, but she said that the fish were very pitiful, so she put them back into the river. I was so angry that I jumped into the river again and almost suffocated to death. Then she must be very considerate and sensible. Speaking of this, I'm even more depressed. It was very cold in the winter, and she ran out to have a snowball fight with me. She only remembered to put a hat on me and forgot to put on her own hat. I could only let her wear mine. She's simply lacking a brain. Unknowingly, one person asked and one person answered. The sun had completely set. The two of them got closer, but their expressions were completely different. One of them was slightly worried, while the other revealed a faint, warm smile. I finally know why you like her so much. She's a good girl. Tang Xiaohan took a light breath and said. Yang Wu didn't think that he would be led into a trap by Tang Xiaohan and say so many things in one breath. He smiled and said, Princess Xiaohan, you're so beautiful and cute. I don't know who would be happy to marry you. It's just that Yang Wu doesn't have this blessing. You don't need to comfort me like this. I'm not that weak. Tang Xiaohan resisted the pain in her heart and replied. After a pause, she said, Can I see her? Don't worry, I won't do anything to her. I'm just curious what kind of girl she looks like. Yang Wu spread his hands and said with a light sigh, If she's in the capital, I'll bring her here for you to see. Unfortunately, she's no longer in the capital. Tang Xiaohan saw the strange look in Yang Wu's eyes and asked, Then where is she? Yang Wu said honestly, She left. She went to a place that I don't know. But we had an agreement that she would come back to reunite with me in 3 years. It's almost been 2 years now. In 1 year we can reunite. After a pause, he said, It's getting late, I have to go back. Wait a bit. Tang Xiaohan urged him to stay. It was a pity that Yang Wu's mood had already risen. He missed her, so he didn't pay attention to Tang Xiaohan's urging and left the courtyard. Tang Xiaohan looked at Yang Wu's back and didn't come back to her senses for a long time. Only when her personal palace maid came out did she wake up. Princess, the prince consort left a long time ago. The palace maid said in a small voice. Tang Xiaohan sat back in the chair and said with her red lips, I don't have a chance. Princess, what's wrong? The palace maid quickly asked. The prince consort has a sweetheart. I don't have a chance, Tang Xiaohan said sadly. The little palace maid said, Then just kill his sweetheart. I can't kill her. As long as you give the order, the imperial guards can kill her. You won't understand. The prince consort likes her. If I kill her, he'll hate me more. Then just make the prince consort like you and abandon her. Yang Wu wanted to hurry home, but as soon as he left the palace, he was stopped by someone. Yang Wu looked over and saw that it was Chun Zhao and Han Qingqian. They were sitting in a carriage and waving at him. Yang Wu walked over curiously and asked, Are you two going to see the emperor so late? Celestial Master Marquis, we're waiting for you. Han Qingqian smiled. Oh, may I know why you two are waiting for me? Yang Wu asked in surprise. Get in, Chen Zhao said to Yang Wu. Let's find a place to chat. Yang Wu hesitated before getting into the carriage and following the two elders. After Yang Wu sat down, Chen Zhao cupped his hands and smiled. First, congratulations to Marquis Yang Wu for becoming a heavenly pharmacist. Han Qingqian chimed in from the side. It is indeed a joyous occasion. Yang Wu returned the greeting. I was just lucky. How can there be such a lucky thing in the world? Chen Zhao smiled. We didn't become heavenly pharmacists either. That's right, Han Qingqian said. You don't have to be humble. Yang Wu smiled. Both of you are Yang Wu's seniors, so don't kill me. Then, he added, it's getting late. If you have something to say, just say it. I'm rushing home to eat, or else my parents will be worried. Chen Zhao and Han Qingqian were speechless. Yang Wu was a king. Would his family be worried just because he was a bit late? He clearly didn't want to be on the same level as them. Then I'll be direct, Chen Zhao replied and cut to the chase. I want you to join the Royal College. In what capacity? Yang Wu asked after some hesitation. As a heavenly pharmacist, of course. I'll give up my position as vice principal to you. Chen Zhao was sincere enough to give up his position to Yang Wu. Yang Wu hurriedly waved his hand. I can't accept that. Marquis Celestial Master, Han Qingqian reminded. The Royal College has more herbs than the Pharmacy Hall. That's right, Chen Zhao continued. The Royal College is an important place for the Imperial Court and nurtures the most outstanding elite. Even the Pharmacy Hall doesn't dare to challenge the Royal College. You'll definitely benefit a lot if you come. Chapter 365. The Royal College was the place where the great Xia dynasty nurtured their elite. Not only were there martial arts, but there was also literature. Similarly, there was also the Alchemy Hall, which could nurture all kinds of talent. These talents could go to Mount Amei and enter the supernatural world. If they couldn't enter the country, they could stay in the imperial court and become a pillar of the country. Currently, at least half of the civil and military officials in the imperial court had studied at the Royal College before. Even Yang Wen had studied at the Royal College before. His legend still remained in the faculty of literature. Yang Wu didn't have that kind of treatment. To enter the Royal College, one had to be below the age of 18 and had reached the warrior level. Before Yang Wu was captured and sent to the mountain prison, he was only an ordinary warrior and hadn't reached the warrior level. Now, Yang Wu was still 2 to 3 months away from turning 18. Not only was he the youngest youth king, but he was also a heavenly pharmacist. His abilities overshadowed all the disciples in the Royal College. Even the teachers in the college couldn't compare to him. Chen Zhao wasn't joking when he directly gave his position to Yang Wu. As long as Yang Wu was willing, he would immediately give up his position. The Royal College represented the new blood of the great Xia dynasty. Every teacher had extraordinary abilities. Although Yang Wu was young, he already had extraordinary status and abilities. He was completely qualified to teach any disciple in the Royal College. Yang Wu thought for a while and said, Elder Chen, I don't want to be restricted. Moreover, I'm a general of the great Xia dynasty and can be deployed at any time. If I become the Royal College's vice principal, I won't be able to answer to the Emperor. Your worries are unnecessary. The Royal College also belongs to the Imperial Court. As long as the Imperial Court needs it, we will help the Imperial Court at any time. There won't be any conflicts, Chen Zhao replied. After a pause, he continued, How about this? If you have any requests, just tell us. We will definitely satisfy you if we can. Yang Wu's appeal as a heavenly pharmacist was very strong. Once Yang Wu joined the Royal College, there should be some pharmacists who would join the Royal College out of admiration. This was what Chen Zhao wanted. Now that the Medicine King Pavilion was the dominant force, this situation had to be broken, and Yang Wu was the best opportunity. Yang Wu saw that Chen Zhao was extremely sincere and hesitated for a moment before saying, Elder Chen, please don't be anxious. This matter is too sudden for me and I need to think about it carefully. Also, I want to ask you, has the Royal Academy's Triennial Martial Arts Tournament started yet? It's going to be held soon. Why are you asking? Chen Zhao was stunned. Yang Wu revealed a shy expression and said, Can I participate? Yang Wu's dream was to become the martial arts champion. He wanted the Yang family to have both the civil and martial arts champion. This dream was not laughable at all. In the past, this was his unattainable dream. Back then, his cultivation talent was not bad, but he could not compare to a real genius. He was not like his younger brother, who was born as a monster and crushed all the literary geniuses along the way. Now, he was able to rise up because of little hay. There was a lot of luck involved. He had already become a king and his battle power was considered to be at the peak of the great Xia dynasty. However, he still had a stubborn heart. Even if others said that he was bullying the weak, he did not care. This was a world where the strong were respected. When Chen Zhao and Han Qingqian heard Yang Wu's words, they were stunned. Clearly, they did not expect Yang Wu to participate in this triennial martial arts tournament. They had always treated Yang Wu as someone of the same generation. Whether it was in terms of official position or ability, he had far surpassed his peers. They had even ignored his young face. Yang Wu was not even 18 years old yet. He was indeed qualified to participate in the martial arts tournament. They thought that if Yang Wu were to participate in the martial arts tournament, would it be like an adult bullying a child? There would be nothing to see. At the same time, they also felt sorry for those children. How could they be born in the same generation as this monster? They were really born at the wrong time. Senior, this is an opportunity. If Yang Wu participates in the martial arts tournament, he will definitely become the martial arts champion. In addition, he will also attract the attention of Mount Amei. When the time comes, we can let him represent the Great Xia dynasty in the 100 Countries tournament and show the might of the Great Xia dynasty. This seems to be more meaningful than him being the vice president, Han Qingqian suggested. This enlightened Chen Zhao. His old eyes twitched and he said, "That's right. How could I forget such a big thing?" Over the years, the Great Xia dynasty has always been at the bottom of the 100 Countries tournament. This time, with Yang Wu participating, even if we don't get first place, it won't be difficult for us to make it into the top 10. Yang Wu was confused as he listened at the side. He did not know what they were talking about. In the next moment, Han Qingqian explained to Yang Wu, the 100 Countries tournament is actually a competition for Mount Amei to select disciples. It is organized by the national power, Mount Amei. Similarly, it is held once every 3 years. Those who shine brightly in the tournament can become official inner disciples. The Academy tournament is merely a preliminary selection for Mount Amei. It can only determine the outer disciples. That is to say, the Great Xia dynasty and Mount Amei control the geniuses of the 100 Countries are on the same level? Yang Wu asked. That's right. Those geniuses who perform outstandingly will become members of the transcendental world in the future. They will all pursue martial arts to the pinnacle and achieve longevity. Chen Zhao nodded and replied. Yang Wu sank into deep thought. He had planned to build a power together with Shou Ho and squeeze into the transcendental world in the future. However, after hearing the words of the two medicine kings, it was as if a door had suddenly opened in his mind. The national power was much stronger than he had imagined. The 100 Countries imperial court, and the Great Xia dynasty was only one of their subsidiary countries. The outside world was much bigger than he had imagined. Agree to them. Go and take a look at the geniuses of the 100 Countries. Then, enter the transcendental world to explore and broaden your horizons. Being limited to one place won't do you much good. As the saying goes, the bigger your heart, the bigger your stage. Little Hei's telepathic thoughts rang out. Yang Wu no longer hesitated. He said to Chen Zhao and Han Qingqian, I will join the academy first, then participate in the martial arts competition. After I obtain the title of martial arts champion, I will participate in the grand tournament of the 100 Countries. Haha, very good. Then it's settled. This is my token. Once you are done with your matters, report to the academy as soon as possible. The martial arts competition will begin in less than a month. You have to hurry and register. Chen Zhao took out a token and handed it to Yang Wu. Yang Wu accepted Chen Zhao's token without hesitation and replied, Thank you. Heavenly Master Marquis, you don't have to be so courteous. As a Heavenly Master, you are far stronger than us. In the future, you have to help us refine 1 or 2 heavenly pills. Chen Zhao went along with the flow. Han Qingqian also raised his eyebrows and said, That's right. A single heavenly pill can create a heavenly realm elite. I think your Yang clan's door will be trampled by those kings. You should prepare early. Yang Wu smiled and said, Don't worry. As long as the two of you can gather the ingredients, I will naturally serve you. However, the two of you should know the rules of us pharmacists, so I won't say too much. After a pause, he said, if others come to ask for heavenly pills, they will have to see if I am in the mood to do so. Soon, they arrived at the medicine hall storehouse. Medicine priest Han Qingqian arranged a banquet. The three of them ate and drank. After chatting for more than 2 hours, they went their separate ways. On the way back, Yang Wu kept thinking about the person Chen Zhao and Han Qingqian had repeatedly mentioned to him. Medicine King's Pavilion's old pavilion master, Yao Yanhai. This person was extremely outstanding in alchemy and had a powerful force supporting him. He told him to be careful, as the other party would definitely retaliate with lightning speed. Yang Wu had not met Yao Yanhai yet, but he already had a deep impression of him. He had already become a heavenly master, and his strength had improved by quite a bit. He could break through to the Earth-Sea realm at any time. After reaching that step, he would not be afraid even if he faced a heavenly fish realm elite. Moreover, he had Meng Bingxue by his side at all times, so it would be difficult for Yao Yanhai to play any trick. Yang Wu quickly returned home. Yang Zhenan and Su Rome were still awake. Accompanying them was Yang Zhenan, who was waiting for his return. Father, Mother, I'm sorry. I was asked to stay behind by the Emperor to say a few words. I was delayed by other matters, so I came back late. Yang Wu immediately apologized to his parents. Silly child, you don't have to apologize to father and mother for coming back late. You've already grown up and are so capable. We don't have to worry about you. Su Rome said with pity. Yang Zhenan said from the side, you really became a heavenly master? Yang Wu, who was beside them, also revealed a look of anticipation. Even though she had already confirmed that she was going to enter the transcendent world, she was still shocked by Yang Wu's identity as a heavenly master. Her mind also became lively. Yang Wu smiled and said, that's right. Didn't the rewards from the palace already arrive at home? Today, after Yang Wu finished listening to the conferment, the imperial court's rewards had already been arranged to be sent to the Yang residence. From now on, the Yang residence would be the Marquis's residence. The size of this residence did not match the status of a Marquis, but it did not matter. The imperial court was already prepared to enclose some of the areas near the Yang family for them. They also sent craftsmen over to expand the Yang residence and make the Yang residence a true Marquis residence. Other than that, the imperial court also gave them more privileges and conferred Yang Zhenan the title of first-rank count. Su Rome naturally became the wife of a first-rank countess. Any title had 3, 6, and 9 rank. The first-rank count had the highest status among the counts, and one step further would allow one to become a marquis. The emperor had shown enough sincerity to Yang Wu, and it was not in vain for Yang Wu to contribute a heaven-reversing pill. Haha, I never thought that I, Yang Zhenan's son, would really become a heavenly master that is revered by tens of thousands of people. It is truly a blessing from the ancestors. Yang Zhenan said with a rare laugh. Su Rome also said excitedly, Wooer, how did you become a heavenly master? How old are you? You're even more promising than one. She was a woman, but that did not mean that she did not know anything. On the contrary, she knew no less than anyone else. She was very clear about the identity of a heavenly master, and she was proud of her son. A mother's status depended on her son, wasn't that the case? It's all thanks to Mother, for giving birth to me and my brother to be so outstanding. Yang Wu hugged his mother and laughed. Chapter 366. It was already very late, but the Yang residence was still brightly lit. Yang Wu accompanied his father, Yang Zhenan, to drink a few cups. Today, not only was Yang Wu happy, his father was also very happy. Yang Zhenan nagged about many things, and it was obvious that the emotions that had been suppressed for a year had all burst out. Yang Wu and Su Rome both listened in silence, and waited until Yang Zhenan was completely drunk before helping him back to his room to rest. Yang Wu gave the qi reversal pill to his mother, and told her to wait until his father woke up before giving this pill to his father. This way, his father would be able to return to his original state, and his strength might even increase by another level. Surome was even more gratified. Having such an outstanding pair of sons, she already felt incomparably satisfied. After Yang Wu sent his parents to rest, he returned to his room. Halfway there, Yang Karen appeared in front of him and said, "Eldest young master, I want to talk to you." Yang Wu lightly nodded, and followed Yang Karen into the courtyard. He guessed and asked, "Sister Karen, do you want me to refine pills for you?" Yang Karen revealed a gentle and beautiful smile, adding a bit of charming radiance to the night. She replied, "No, I haven't used the dawn you gave me." "Then you're preparing to leave?" Yang Wu asked again. "It should be within this month. I've already told Master and Madam that I've let them down," Yang Karen said with a gloomy expression. She paused for a moment before continuing, "I'm looking for you because I want you to meet my master. I want you to enter the transcendent realm with me to cultivate. This place can no longer satisfy your needs. If you continue to stay here, it will only affect your future." Yang Wu sat on the stone chair, looked at Yang Karen and asked, "I still don't know what power you've joined. Can you tell me?" Yang Karen flipped her hair and said, "I only know that it's a force from the transcendent world. I really don't know which force it is. My master said that it's not inferior to our country's Mount Amay." Yang Wu lightly shook his head and said, "You don't even know what kind of power it is. It's better if I don't get involved. Just like you said, with my ability, it's not difficult for me to enter the transcendent world. There's no need for me to go to your power. I just want to be with young master. It's better if we support each other," Yang Kurin said with a pleading expression. "Sister Karen, I know your intentions, but everyone has their own path to walk. A force that suits you may not suit me. Although I am a heavenly alchemist, it does not mean that I only know how to refine medicine for others. Pursuing the peak of martial arts is also my dream, so you don't have to persuade me," Yang Wu said as he blocked Yang Karen's suggestion. Actually, it was not that he did not want to enter the transcendent world with Yang Karen. It was indeed easier to take care of one more person, but if he really did so, it would only affect Yang Karen's growth. This was unfair to her. Only by separating them could she wholeheartedly cultivate and wander the world, and her growth would be faster. Yang Karen saw that Yang Wu had already made up his mind and could only sigh sadly. "Then I won't force young master," Yang Wu said again. "Sister Karen, what do you think of Lu Ji?" Yang Karen slightly raised her gaze and said, "What do you mean? Don't you think he's very handsome?" "It's true that he looks very feminine." If Lu Ji heard this, he would probably cry. "However, he does look a bit feminine. Many men like him. And, if there's nothing else, I'll go back to my room first. I just want to say that he likes you. I also hope that you can consider it. His future achievements will not be worse than anyone else." "All right, I will consider what young master said." Yang Karen went back to her room. The long night was almost over. Yang Wu could not sleep, so he directly jumped onto the roof and sat next to Meng Bingxue, looking at the few shining stars in the sky. After a while, he said to Meng Bingxue, "Bingxue, as long as you gather the materials, I will refine the heavenly soul pill for you to help you recover." Meng Bingxue didn't answer. She just leaned on Yang Wu's shoulder and hugged his arm tighter than before. She was a beauty as cold as ice. Her aura was very strong. Even the Rose of Death and Wan Lanxin could not compare to her. However, after staying in the Frost Spring Pool for so many years, her blood energy had already changed, making her very cold. Even kings would feel cold when near her. Only Yang Wu, who had absorbed the Frost Spring mysterious essence, could be close to her. Yang Wu glanced at her stupefied face and suddenly felt a little sad. Once she was better, she would definitely leave him. During this period of time, he had already gotten used to having her by his side. He did not know if he would get used to it after she left. Unknowingly, the sun gradually rose. Gentle purple chi sprinkled on their bodies. The scene was really too beautiful to be imagined. Yang Wu took the opportunity to circulate the Supreme Nine Mysteries formula and absorbed a wisp of majestic purple chi into his dantian. He immediately felt warm, and the profound chi liquid in his dantian was rippling. Wave after wave, they surged violently, as if they were crashing against a reef, producing strange sounds. Even his meridians and acupoints were vibrating at the same time. At this moment, his spiritual chi became incomparably vigorous. Even if he didn't sleep for an entire night, it didn't affect him in the slightest. I want to break through. Yang Wu sighed softly. He forced himself to run the Regal Nine Mysteries formula to calm down the mysterious chi. Right now, he did not want to break through yet. He felt that the accumulation of comprehension was still a bit short. When he was at the border, his chief master taught him the cultivation comprehension of the Earth Sea realm and Celestial Fish realm, letting him explore on his own. He had been dealing with all kinds of trivial matters, so he did not have the time to calm down and comprehend. Now, he needed to think about it carefully. Yang Wu patted Meng Bingshua's shoulder, then stood up and said to Xueji, Du Guang Fo, and the others in the dark, pass down my order. The Yang mansion will be sealed for 7 days. No guests will be seen. After that, he returned to his room to cultivate. The reason why he did this was because he expected that from today onwards, many people would want to break through the Yang mansion's threshold. But now, he did not have time to deal with those people. His father was also in the stage of recovery. It would be best if he was not disturbed. A buffer of 7 days was the best. These 7 days could also extinguish some people's enthusiasm. First, he would let the influence of his identity subside and weaken. Sure enough, on the 2nd day, many officials, big and small, came to the Yang mansion with generous gifts. These people were stopped by the Death Legion. They were told that the Yang mansion was sealed and no guests would be seen. After hearing this, these people had some complaints, but soon they all disappeared. This was because they saw that the 2nd and 3rd rank officials in the crowd left obediently. What could they say? In addition, people from the Su clan came again. It was Su Huron, Kong Qing, and their son, but they were also stopped at the door. Don't you remember us? We are Marquis Xiaowu's uncle and aunt. Quickly let us in. Kong Qing squeezed to the front and shouted, as if she was afraid that others would not know that she was a relative of the Yang clan. Unfortunately, the 18 Death Legion generals standing in front of the door were still expressionless. They looked like they did not want strangers to come close. They were indifferent to Kong Qing's words. Kong Qing continued to shout for a while, but it was to no avail. Instead, it attracted the attention of the fiendish Big Mouth Li. I don't care if you're the group leader's aunt or not. Whoever dares to make a ruckus here will be killed without mercy. Li Dazue's top-notch general aura was not a joke. Moreover, he had eaten human flesh before. His unique ferocity was not something that others could compare to. Kong Qing was so frightened that she almost cried on the spot. Just like this, the officials gathered in front of the door dispersed and did not continue to stay. The smarter officials left their manservants to keep watch. Once the Yang mansion was unsealed, they would be able to get the news immediately. It would not be too late to rush over to deliver the gift. The news of Yang Wu defeating Yao Lingyu in the alchemy competition and becoming the youngest heavenly alchemist swept through the capital under the spread of people with intentions. Have you heard? The pavilion master of the Medicine King Pavilion was defeated by Earl Xiaowu in the alchemy competition. No, it should be Marquis Xiaowu. Is it that young Lieutenant General Yang Wu who has made great contributions to our great Xia? He also knows alchemy? I heard that not only is Marquis Yang Wu's combat prowess impressive, but he's also a natural alchemist. He refined a heavenly pill in one fell swoop in the Imperial Palace and attracted heavenly thunder, almost destroying the imperial palace. I believe everyone saw the heavenly thunder yesterday. Truly, heroes come from the youth. This can't be fake, right? The pavilion master of the Medicine King Pavilion's alchemy skills are one of the best in our great Xia. Would he lose to a youth? This matter is absolutely true. Yang Wu has been conferred as a first marquis. This matter has already been announced on the imperial notice. It's really too amazing. In the streets and alleys of Monarch City, restaurants, everyone was talking about Yang Wu being conferred as the youngest marquis in the history of Great Xia. This piece of news was seriously too explosive. It was impossible for everyone not to pay attention to it even if they did not want to. Very soon, the matter of Yang Wu trampling on the Medicine King Pavilion's disciples at the herbal medicine trading ground was exposed. It further confirmed that Yang Wu was an alchemist and that his victory over the pavilion master of the Medicine King Pavilion in the Imperial Palace was not groundless. After some of the eccentric people in the pugilistic world heard this news, they all acted upon hearing the news. They were all very clear on how important a heavenly alchemist was. If they could become a follower of a heavenly alchemist, it would undoubtedly be a very fortunate thing for them. It meant that there would be many fewer obstacles in their path of advancement. There were also some alchemists who had not been recruited by the Medicine King Pavilion. They were usually suppressed by the Medicine King Pavilion. Yang Wu's appearance was undoubtedly great news. Perhaps they could choose a good place to return to and be able to properly refine pills. Yang Wu thought that 7 days of silence would be enough. He did not expect that the situation would become more and more intense. The number of people gathered in front of the Yang residence did not decrease but increased instead. Chapter 367. Royal City, Su Residence. The reason why this place was called a residence was because Old Master Su was once a count and a third-rank official. It could be considered a great clan. The courtyard wasn't small, and there were more than 10 rooms. There were trees, flowers, rockery, and pavilions in the courtyard. The decorations were very elegant. Old Master Su was once the Minister of Personnel and was a true scholar. He had 3 sons and 1 daughter. The eldest son was Su Huren, the second son was Su Mingbo, the third was Su Yenshui, and the fourth was Su Rome. Old Master Su had retired and no longer cared about the matters of the imperial court. He had been at home for 1,000 years. His eldest son, Su Huren, was in charge of the Su family's affairs. He was a rather mediocre person and was especially henpecked. His second son, Su Mingbo, was a 6th-rank official. He didn't even have the qualifications to participate in the morning court and had already moved out of the Su family's courtyard. His third son, Su Yenshui, was the most promising. He was one of the city guards and had the strength of a high-level king. It was because of his existence that the Su family wasn't affected by the Yang family's confiscation. His daughter, Su Rome, was married to Yang Zhenan and Yang Wu's mother. Usually, only Old Master Su and Su Huren lived in the Su family. Su Mingbo had already become an independent person. Su Yenshui was unrestrained and focused on cultivation. He hadn't married yet. Originally, the whole family was busy with their own matters and rarely gathered together. They would only gather during the festive season. Today, Old Master Su came forward and gathered his 3 sons together. This was a very rare event. The last time they had gathered was a year ago when the Yang clan was in trouble. That was why everyone was present. Old Master Su was already 70 years old. His hair was white, his face was full of wrinkles, and his old eyes were muddy. Sitting in the middle of the Su family's main hall, one could vaguely see a trace of his style when he was in charge of all the officials in the world. Su Huren sat obediently at the side with a gentle smile on his face. Su Mingbo was wearing an official's uniform. His official hat wasn't big, but his score was bigger than his father's. He sat solemnly on the chair with his chin raised high. Su Yenshui looked the youngest. He had a cigarette in his mouth and his legs were crossed. He had a look of disapproval on his face. The first to speak was Su Mingbo. He faintly said, "Father, why did you call me back so urgently? I'm busy with work and don't have so much time to waste here." Su Huron said, "Second brother, don't be anxious. Father naturally called us over for an urgent matter." What urgent matter could there be? Isn't it because of the Yang family's trivial matters? We've already severed our relationship with them, so why bother with them? Su Mingbo coldly snorted. His resentment towards the Yang clan was not small. Originally, he could have been promoted to a 5th-rank official a year ago, but because of the Yang clan's matter, his promotion was delayed. He was still worried that he had no place to vent his anger. You're already so busy as a minor official. If you become a 3rd or 4th-rank official, you won't even need to return home. Old Man Su finally opened his mouth to speak. His dignified aura was still present as he glared at his second son, making him feel uncomfortable. "Father, I don't want to lose face for our Su family. Even if I can't take your original position, I can at least make the Emperor see me in a different light," Su Mingbo stubbornly said. He was a pedantic person who didn't know how to adapt. Otherwise, he would have already been promoted to a 4th-rank official with the connections left behind by his father. "Second brother, you're obsessed with being an official. You're always working hard. Look at you, you're about to become as old as father." Su Yenshui couldn't help but say, "Third brother, what are you saying? It's my duty to work hard for the country." Su Mingbo unhappily replied, "Fine, fine. You're the greatest." Su Yenshui was too lazy to argue with him, so he asked his father, "Father, did you really call us over because of the Yang clan's matter? Apart from this matter, what else could it be?" Old Master Su replied in a huff. Pausing for a moment, he let out a long sigh. "After being an official for so many years, the biggest mistake I've ever made was to abandon my own daughter. Every time I think about it for the past year, I feel extremely ashamed and upset. Father, you did this for our Su family, so we don't blame you." Su Huron comforted from the side. "Of course you don't blame me, but I'm afraid that Rome has already forgotten about me." Old Man Su sadly said, "Father, if you want to restore your relationship with the Yang clan, then go ahead. I don't have the time for that," Su Mingbo said with disdain. "Impudent! Do you still see me as your father? Do you really think that you can disrespect your elders just because you established your own family?" Old Man Su shouted while swinging his walking stick. Su Mingbo's mouth twitched, but he didn't talk back. Anyone could see that he was in a bad mood. Old Man Su then said, "I heard that the higher-ups are preparing to promote you to a scholar in the cabinet." This time, Su Mingbo's eyes lit up as he said, "Really?" A scholar in the cabinet was a lower 4th-rank official. He already had the qualifications to participate in the morning court meetings. Compared to his original 6th rank, it was a jump of 3 ranks. It shouldn't be fake, but it's not that easy to succeed. Old Man Su kept him in suspense. "Father, you have to help me this time. If you don't help me, then I'll really die of old age in this position. I'll lose face for the Su family's ancestors." Su Mingbo's solemn expression disappeared, and was replaced with an incomparably excited expression. "Do you think that father's old face is still worth anything? The higher-ups are only doing this for the sake of the Yang clan. If we can't restore our relationship with the Yang clan, then this matter will most likely be delayed," Old Man Su unhappily said. Su Mingbo hurriedly said, "We're all a family. How can there be overnight enmity? I'll go find little sister now. She'll definitely let bygones be bygones." What a joke. A year ago, who was the first one to cut ties with the Yang clan? Now that you can be promoted, you're trying to curry favor with the Yang clan. Su Yenshui coldly ridiculed. A year ago, only he, Su Yenshui, hoped that the Su family could plead with the emperor to let the Yang clan go. Unfortunately, everyone was against it, causing him to be thoroughly disappointed in the Su family. "Third brother, Your words are too much. Su Huron said. Su Mingbo glared at Su Yenshui and said, My great handsome Su, you have a lot of skills and aren't afraid of anything. But have you ever thought about the Su family situation? At that time, if we didn't cut ties with the Yang clan, then our Su family would have been wiped out. How could we still have a foothold in Imperial City? I can't be bothered to waste my breath with you. In any case, I don't have the face to go to the Yang clan. Su Yenshui disdained to argue with his second brother. Old man Su said, Great handsome Yen, this matter needs to be handled by you. Little Mei's relationship with you has always been the best. Now that the Yang clan has been sealed, it should be my grandson who gave the order. Eldest brother can't enter, but you can. Father, the Su family is doing very well now. I can also protect this family. What more do you want? Su Yenshui retorted. Third brother, you can't say that. After father retired, our Su family's influence is not as great as before. You, the city guardian general, don't like to manage matters. If you can use the Yang clan's words to promote me to an inner court scholar, then our Su family's glory will be restored. Su Mingbo said with a smile of exultation. I won't do this. Su Yenshui threw out these words. He ignored his father and two brothers and walked out of the hall. Old man Su was very angry, but in the end, he sighed and said, It seems I have to throw away my old face. Su Mingbo said in support, Father, you are old but strong. It's good for you to go out and walk. Su Huron showed a bit of dissatisfaction with his second brother. This second brother's bureaucratic style was too strong. Prince Fu An's mansion. Prince Fu An welcomed a guest, and this guest was the Medicine King Hall's Yao Lingyu. Yao Lingyu has changed his clothes. He was no longer an alchemist, but a gorgeous dress. His appearance was completely different from the day when he was refining elixirs. People who were not familiar with him could not recognize his identity. I thought you will not come. While Prince Fu An was boiling the tea, he took a glance at Yao Lingyu and said with a light tone. Yao Lingyu sat down and said, Since Wang Ye invited me, how can I dare not to come? Then, he said, Why are you looking for me at this time? Don't you want to see my face after I lose face? Prince Fu An said, I'm not interested in whether you are good or bad. I just want to ask you about the things between us. Everything is not a problem. We just need to wait for the right time to do what you want. Yao Lingyu seriously replied. After a pause, he asked, You don't want to do it in the near future, do you? Prince Fu An didn't answer. He just put a cup of brewed tea in front of Yao Lingyu. After drinking a cup, he said, Time does not wait for me, there will be a change. We have been preparing for many years. What kind of change do we not expect? Yao Lingyu said, The kid who made you lose face is the biggest change. It's him. Yes, I have a deeper grudge with the Yang family than you. I wanted to kill him before this, but the dead demon and my two kings never came back. Plus, the Black Hand list that the Song family invited were all dead. Prince Fu An said with a very dignified look. This little bastard has such a big ability. Yao Lingyu was quite shocked. Yes, so I want to use the power behind you to get rid of him as soon as possible, so as not to affect our plan. Prince Fu An said. Yao Lingyu said, My father wants to recruit him. Do you think this is possible? That's not very likely. Young people are all unruly. So, this kid cannot be left alive. After the two secretly plotted for a long time, Yao Lingyu quietly left. Not long after he left, Song Xiang appeared in Prince Fu An's mansion. Wang Ye, are you not afraid of Medicine King Hall biting us? Song Xiang asked. Prince Fu An sneered and said, Alchemists are nothing but fools. If they dare to rebel, we will completely eradicate them. These people's hearts were like the sea. In the end, it was still unknown who will take advantage of who. Chapter 368. Royal City, Yang Residence. This place was surrounded by the Death Legion, and no one was allowed to enter. Even officials and nobles had to stay far away from this place. The Yang residence had already been sealed for 5 days. News about Yang Wu spread like wildfire, and more people gathered. Some wanted to meet the youngest Heavenly Master Marquis in history, some wanted to build a good relationship with the Yang family, and some wanted to propose marriage. No matter why they came, they had to stop outside the Yang residence. This caused the area outside the Yang residence to be overcrowded. No matter who persuaded them to leave, they were all waiting for the Yang residence to be unsealed, hoping to be able to meet the Yang family as soon as possible. All of you make way, all of you make way. A luxurious carriage arrived in front of the Yang residence. The coachman kept shouting for the people in front to make way. Why are you squeezing? Can't you see that there are people in front? We can't pass, someone replied unhappily. That's right. Everyone has to follow the order of first come, first serve. Don't squeeze around here, someone else agreed. My family's old master Su is Earl Yang Zhennan's father-in-law. He's preparing to enter the Yang residence, so please make way, the coachman said. Some people were stunned for a moment, but they still made way for the other party. Apart from old master Su, Su Huren and Su Mingbo were also in the carriage. They wanted to repair their relationship with the Yang family, so they treated this matter very seriously. When the Su family's carriage squeezed to the front, old master Su walked down with the support of his 2 sons. Su Huren went forward and said to the Death Legion's general, "Please report that old master Su is here. Your Lord Yang Zhennan will definitely come out to meet him. He's your lord's father-in-law." The Death Legion's general hesitated for a moment, but he still quickly reported this matter to Commander Li Dazue. If it was someone else, they could stop them. However, since the commander's grandfather was here, they didn't dare to make a decision. After hearing the report, Li Dazue walked towards Old Master Su and said casually, "Old Master Su, I'm sorry. The Yang family has been sealed off. Please come back in 2 days." "Impudent! How dare you speak to my father like that? Your family's patriarch is my father's good son-in-law. What is the meaning of this?" Su Mingbo reprimanded with the authority of an official. Li Dazue giggled. "We're just following orders. Go back and report to him. My brother-in-law, Yang Zhennan, will definitely come out to welcome us," Su Mingbo said sternly. "I can't do that," Li Dazue replied with a smile. He looked like a fool, but he wasn't. The Su family didn't receive any visitors one after another, which proved that their relationship with the Yang family wasn't good. If they were, he would have received instructions from Yang Wu to let the Su family pass. But since Yang Wu didn't say anything, he could only carry out his orders. "Are you playing dumb? Do you believe that I'll get my brother-in-law to punish you severely?" Su Mingbo said loudly again. Old Master Su waved his hand to stop Su Mingbo from speaking. He smiled at Li Dazue and said, "You guys should be soldiers, right?" Li Dazue nodded. "Yes, we're the Death Legion." "Not bad. You guys are able to carry out orders strictly. With good soldiers like you guys, Great Xia's borders will be secure." Old Master Su sighed. He paused for a moment and continued, "Today, you're a guard of the Yang family. You've done a good job. When I see my son-in-law, I'll definitely praise you and get him to give you a promotion and salary." "Thank you, Old Master Su. Okay, you can go and report to him then." "No," Li Dazue said firmly. Old Master Su's face didn't look too good. He originally thought that he could persuade this guard to listen to him with a few pleasant words, but the other party was stubborn. At this moment, the surrounding people started to mock and ridicule in low voices. The Su family is really thick-skinned. A year ago, when the Yang family got into trouble, they were busy cutting ties with them. Now, they're trying to curry favor with their relative. Even this old master has stepped in. Don't they feel ashamed? Isn't that so? Previously, the Yang family was so miserable. Their entire family was raided. Luckily, they survived and are even more glorious now. The Su family is definitely regretting it. The Su family has already announced that they're severing ties with the Yang family. What are they trying to do now? Keep your voice down. Maybe the Yang family will be merciful and forgive them. Old Master Su was old, but his hearing hadn't deteriorated. He could hear these sarcastic remarks and his old face felt hot. Luckily, he had been an official for many years and was rather good at maintaining his composure. He still didn't get angry. Su Mingbo couldn't take it anymore. He shouted, "What nonsense are you talking about? Madame Yang is my sister and the mother of the Celestial Master Marquis. Our blood ties are the closest. Even if there's some unhappiness, it can be resolved quickly. If you continue to spout nonsense, don't even think about entering the Yang family." After he said that, the others shut up. However, their faces were filled with disdain. Suddenly, an old laughter rang out in the Yang residence. "Haha, I, Yang Jinan, have finally regained the strength of a king." At the same time, an extremely powerful aura swept across the Yang residence like a storm. This was the aura of a top-tier king. Yang Jinan released a pair of blue profound wings and soared into the sky. There was a blue glow surrounding his body, making him look extremely dazzling. The Death Legion immediately knelt down on one knee and said in unison, "Congratulations, my lord." They all respected Yang Wu. Yang Jinan was also Yang Wu's father and the head of the Yang family. They had to give him enough respect. The people outside the Yang residence were all dumbfounded as they stared at the figure in the sky. After a while, when they came back to their senses, the figure had already disappeared into the Yang residence. In the next moment there was an uproar. Count Jinan's strength seems to have become even more powerful. I've long heard that Count Jinan's strength had already entered the Earth-Sea realm. Later on, he was harmed by a traitor and his cultivation fell. Now, it seems that not only has he recovered, but he has also become even more powerful. This must be due to Marquis Xiaowu's powerful alchemy skills. He really makes others envious. This time, the Yang family has truly risen again. They can stand shoulder to shoulder with any great clan or even surpass them. Father, brother-in-law's strength has recovered. Su Huron excitedly said to Grandfather Su. Grandfather Su revealed a gratified expression and said, "That's right. It's good that he has recovered. Let's go back." After seeing Yang Jinan return to the Earth-Sea realm, Grandfather Su felt even more ashamed to see his son-in-law. "Father, what's the rush? Brother-in-law just came out of seclusion. Let's call him out to welcome us." How could Su Mingbo be willing to leave? After saying this, he shouted, "Brother-in-law, quickly come out. Grandfather Su, big brother, and I have come to see you." The members of the Death Legion couldn't stop him from shouting. They could only go along with him. "Let's go." Grandfather Su flung his sleeves and turned to leave. He didn't care about Su Mingbo. Su Mingbo couldn't stop him even if he wanted to. Grandfather Su boarded the carriage and Su Huron followed. Su Mingbo also said, "Father, even if you don't think for me, you have to think for the Su family. How can you go back like this?" "I'm going back because I don't want to lose face anymore," Grandfather Su said. "What's there to lose face about a father-in-law coming to see his son-in-law? Don't bother with what those people are saying. They're just jealous. I don't care what those people think of me. I just feel that my decision back then was ridiculously wrong. I don't have the face to see your brother-in-law and sister. We're all family. What's the big deal? It's all in the past. I've only understood the fickleness of human nature after living for a long time. If you want to stay, then stay." After the Su family left, Yang Jinan appeared at the door with Su Rome. Su Rome asked the general of the Death Legion, "Where's my father and brother?" Replying to Madam, "They just left." The general of the Death Legion replied, "Why did you let them leave?" Su Rome said somewhat sadly. Li Dazue walked over and took the initiative to apologize. "Master, Madam, I made the decision not to report to you. Please punish me." Yang Jinan waved his hand and said, "This has nothing to do with you. You can leave." He then said to Surome, "If you miss them, then go back and see them." Surome looked at Yang Jinan and said, "Can I really?" When they were imprisoned, the Su family announced that they were severing ties with them. At that time, her heart was broken. They were all family, and blood was thicker than water. However, they were so heartless, which made her feel despair. Last time, her big brother Su Huron and sister-in-law came together. She still couldn't let go of the blood relationship and met them. However, this matter still depended on her husband's opinion. After all, her family wasn't kind in the first place. She couldn't blame her husband for not remembering their old relationship. A year ago they really made people bitterly disappointed. They only wanted to protect themselves. Even if they stood out to plead for us, I'm afraid the Su family would have been removed from the capital. Now I still feel uncomfortable. It's not something I can let go of in a short period of time. Yang Jinan said frankly. He then added, "No matter what they do, I only care about whether you're happy or not." Surome was so moved that she wanted to cry. She threw herself into Yang Jinan's arms and felt that she was the happiest woman in the world. Not only did she have a pair of filial and sensible sons, even her husband was so considerate. What else could she be dissatisfied with? Let's go back first. This family should be left to Wu to take care of. I need to consolidate my newly recovered strength. Yang Jinan pulled his wife's hand and returned to the courtyard. Surome followed and said, "When Wu comes out of seclusion, I will have a good discussion with him. I feel that we are all family. Let bygones be bygones. What do you think? Everything is up to you." Chapter 369. In one of the rooms of the Yang family, a young man was sitting naked in meditation. This young man was handsome and had an ethereal temperament. His naked body was as delicate and tender as a newborn baby. Anyone who saw him would feel that water would come out of his body. This was a body that had been tempered many times. Although it looked tender, every muscle was incomparably tough. Even swords and spears could not easily hurt it. In the Great Xia, only Yang Wu had such an abnormal physique. These days, he had been concentrating on cultivation. During the day, he comprehended the insights that his chief master had passed on to him. At night, he cultivated the Soul Control Sutra to strengthen his soul and mental strength. Yang Wu had entered the Earth Sea realm for some time. With his combat talent, he was indeed comparable to a top king. He was a combat genius that he could be proud of. When he pondered over the insights left by his master, he found that he still had a bright future. These insights were not mnemonics, but some key points of analysis of the Earth-Sea realm and Heavenly Fish realm, as well as the operation techniques of these realms. Now, what Yang Wu had comprehended was the key points of breaking through the realms. It was the key details that he had to pay attention to. Before breaking through, it was best to build a solid foundation, build a more perfect body, and strengthen his mental strength so that the breakthrough would be twice as easy. Yang Wu's body was, without a doubt, after being tempered to the extreme by Little Hay's medicinal liquid, cleansed by Lan Xiaoji, and absorbed the heavenly thunder striking the body a few days ago, his body had been forged far beyond that of warriors of the same level. It was not difficult for his physique to be comparable to that of a Heavenly Fish realm expert. In addition, the blooming of the Tao flower in his divine court had been increasing with the help of the Soul Control Sutra. He perfectly possessed these two elements, so it would not be difficult for him to break through. However, how to make the breakthrough more perfect required a deeper understanding of the dantian, meridians, acupoints, and many other parts. Blindly breaking through would cause a serious burden on the body and damage the foundation. Only by breaking through properly would it be more beneficial to the operation of the martial body. It would strengthen the martial body and build a more stable foundation. Among them, his master had specially mentioned the role of the 8 extraordinary scriptures. He had to make good use of them, which was the key to breaking through the King realm and the Heavenly Fish realm. For those who had not opened the 8 extraordinary meridians, they would first try to open them. For those who had already opened the 8 extraordinary meridians, they would have to ponder over the uses of the 8 extraordinary meridians and make full use of them. The Ren meridian was the Yin meridian, the Du meridian was the Yang meridian, the Ren meridian was the Du meridian, the 8 meridian opened, and the 100 meridian opened. These were the 2 most urgently needed extraordinary meridians. The other 6 extraordinary meridians also had different uses. For example, the charging meridian mainly targeted the power of the bloodline, while the girdle meridian revolved around the various meridians in the body. In the past few days of comprehension, Yang Wu had mainly focused on the operation of these 8 extraordinary meridians. He had reorganized them and clarified their functions once more. He had obtained obvious results. Among them, the power of the bloodline benefited the most. This was also a type of potential talent, and it was an ancestral talent. He mainly conducted a test on breaking meridians. Focusing on breaking meridians, he guided the power in his dantian and stimulated his blood vessels. The blue dots continued to increase, and his innate ability was awakening one by one. This ancestral innate ability had its own memory, and it directly awakened. This was a type of war blood innate talent. In ancient times, someone had awakened an incomparably warlike ability. Through their bloodline, they could increase their battle prowess and erupt with even more terrifying battle prowess than usual. This kind of bloodline was extremely rare and belonged to the war tribe. They were born to be warriors, and they fought for their lives. They came from the most ancient times, when the human race was the weakest, and they were bullied by the other races. There was a kind of people who activated their fighting talent, and they fought for a place for the human race among the other races. This kind of warrior was the most powerful bloodline of the human race's ancestors. Unfortunately, there were too few people in this bloodline. After many battles and disputes, the bloodline was lost, and the number of warriors who awakened war blood became fewer and fewer. As a result, the war tribe had been forgotten by the people. These fragmented memories followed the awakening of war blood. Yang Wu was clear, but his consciousness was still very fuzzy. He needed to further refine his bloodline before he could truly become a true warrior. This warrior and the warrior level in the realm were 2 different concepts. In the information of his chief master, the innate ability was incomparably important. When breaking through, it had to be used to speed up the awakening of the innate ability. In addition, the use of profound qi was also incomparably skillful. In battle, the consumption of profound qi was unavoidable. However, how to minimize the consumption of profound qi and display the strongest battle prowess required a knack. Even more so, it required an incomparably thorough understanding of one's own body. Yang Wu, through the comprehension left behind by his chief master, had grasped some of the knack. It required the use of profound arts, and then according to a special rhythm to erupt. Only then could this power be used effectively. Yang Wu tried to adjust the circulation rhythm of the sovereign 9 profound arts according to the method of comprehension. Indeed, his power was better controlled. He couldn't help but sigh with emotion. This chief master still has some ability. In the past few days of seclusion, not only was he digesting the comprehension left behind by his master, but he was also using these comprehensions to compress the power that was about to explode. In the King realm, the first stage was to liquefy profound qi, the second stage was the blue waves of the sea, the third stage was the eye of the sea, and the fourth stage was the rising moon of the sea. When Yang Wu reached the intermediate Earth-Sea realm, the blue waves of the sea in his dantian appeared. Only by turning these blue waves into a whirlpool and condensing them into the eye of the sea could he break through to the advanced Earth-Sea realm in one fell swoop. The blue waves of the sea in his dantian were already spinning rapidly from time to time, and the shape of an eye could be vaguely seen. As long as he urged his profound qi to turn these seas of profound qi into an eye, his power would circulate endlessly, and he could reach the advanced Earth-Sea realm. At present, Yang Wu didn't want to condense the eye, but continued to increase the frequency of the blue waves of the sea. Just like those waves, wave after wave, when it reached a certain number of stacks, its power would reach the strongest, and he would be able to break through in one fell swoop. This way, the success rate of breaking through would not only be high, but also bring benefit. Yang Wu only caused the signs of the blue waves of the sea when he broke through to the intermediate Earth-Sea realm. At other times, he didn't pay too much attention to its frequency. According to his master's comprehension, before breaking through to the advanced Earth-Sea realm, it was best to have 81 stacks of the blue waves of the sea in one fell swoop. That would be the best time to break through. In the past few days, he had tried stacking the blue waves of the sea. At most, he could launch 55 stacks of power at one time. Although he felt that he could smoothly break through to the Earth-Sea realm, he still felt that this was not the best time. He wanted to achieve the 81 stacks of his master's comprehension. That way, not only would he be able to expand his meridians and acupoints, but he would also be able to push every bit of power to the extreme. When he faced an enemy in the future, the power he could erupt would reach the limit. According to the comprehension left by his master, an ordinary warrior could only activate 50 to 60% of the power in his dantian when he broke out with all his strength. A true genius could exert 60 to 70% of the power, and a martial arts genius could exert 70 to 90% of the power. Only those peerless evildoers could erupt with 100% of the power, or even beyond the limit of terrifying power. These 4 different kinds of warriors all referred to the full power they could erupt with when they were at the same level. Yang Wu wanted to condense 81 blue waves of the sea to break through to the advanced Earth-Sea realm, which was the limit of full power eruption. Because of this, Yang Wu was not in a hurry to break through to the advanced Earth-Sea realm with his current strength. He needed to repeatedly temper the mysterious qi liquid, condense it again, and then try again. At night, his progress in cultivating the Soul Control Heart Sutra was still very obvious. As long as he kept meditating and cultivating, he could use the Heart Sutra to increase his soul power. He was cultivating the Yang family's spear technique, the Yang family's spear manual, which was a heaven realm spear technique. At least the Earth-Sea realm could cultivate it. If he wanted to reach the realm of great success, he needed to reach the heavenly fish realm. He activated the Soul Control Heart Sutra to meditate on the spear technique, which had the effect of getting twice the result with half the effort. Even though he would exhaust most of his soul each time, when he replenished it again, there would be a clear increase in power. This could be seen from the growth of the Wei flower of the Divine Court. It was like a flower that had been watered every morning. It became more and more beautiful. As the Divine Court's Tao flower grew, the Tao of Death, Fist Intent, Savage Beast Fist, and various alchemy techniques attached to the petals were strengthened. The benefits were considerable. The time spent meditating was also getting longer and longer, and the cultivation of the battle techniques was also getting more and more handy. In the past few days, Yang Wu had already cultivated the first 3 moves of the Yang family's spear manual to the proficient level. He had not cultivated the last 4 moves for the time being. It was not that he could not cultivate the last 4 moves, but that he had limited time. For the time being, he would cultivate the first 3 moves and cultivate the last 4 moves in the future. In addition, he was also studying how to revive the soul of the urinal. If the Soul Control Heart Sutra was cultivated to the realm of great success, it could indeed help people heal soul injuries. However, he did not have this ability at the moment. Otherwise, he could have repaired Meng Bingshue's soul first. Unknowingly, 7 days had passed. Yang Wu stopped cultivating. His condition was getting better and better. It was time to deal with some things as soon as possible. Tang Jiaoyan, Song Yuming, I've been back for some time. Are you ready? Yang Wu sneered, opened his door, and murmured to the sunlight outside. Chapter 370. 7 days' time was enough for many hot topics to die down. However, the topic of Yang Wu becoming a heavenly alchemist became more and more heated. Even the matter of him winning the alchemy challenge against the pavilion master of the Medicine King's pavilion had already been confirmed by someone. In these 7 days, the number of people gathered in front of the Yang residence had already reached close to 1,000. These people included the relatives and servants of the various major officials. They were all here waiting to deliver gifts on behalf of their family heads. In addition, there were some eccentrics of the pugilistic world. There were powerful cultivators, alchemists, and also some wealthy merchants. They lined up in a row, waiting for the Yang residence to open its doors. On the 8th day, the Yang residence was finally unsealed and opened its doors. Everyone's spirits were lifted. The Yang residence is open. It really made people wait for a long time. Quickly go and ask for an audience. Otherwise, if it closes again, who knows when we can enter the Yang residence. I must see the heavenly alchemist Marquis. I came for him. Requesting an audience with Marquis Xiaowu. I've already waited for you for 7 days and 7 nights. That's right. We've already waited for 7 days and 7 nights. Please meet us. These people cried out one after another, all of them wanting to see Yang Wu. Most of them wanted to give him gifts and establish a good relationship with him, some wanted to follow Yang Wu, and some wanted to establish a business relationship with the Yang family. In short, there were all kinds of people. They all wanted to enter the Yang residence and build a good relationship with him first. This time, the one who came out of the Yang residence was shockingly Yang Wu himself. Behind him followed Lu Ji, Xueji, Du Guangfo, Li Dazue, Zhou Yong, and Jing Xiaohu. They were all the top troops of the Death Legion. Ever since Yang Wu returned to the royal city, the Death Legion had all become his private army. This was originally against the rules, but no one dared to say a word. After all, Yang Wu did not even take the imperial edict seriously. Furthermore, he did not receive any punishment and was even rewarded as a young marquis. Yang Wu had been in closed-door training for 7 days. During these 7 days, his spirit and temperament had reached a whole new level. Today, he was wearing a white robe and had a bright smile on his face. It was as if the brilliant sunlight was shining on everyone. Everyone's eyes were attracted to him. Whether they had seen him before or not, they all felt that this child was like the son of a fairy descending to the mortal world. That ethereal fairy aura was something that no one else possessed. They secretly praised in their hearts, "What a good Xiaowu marquis." Everyone was silent for a moment. They did not shout excitedly like before. Instead, they waited for Marquis Xiaowu to speak. They all wanted to hear what he had to say to them. Yang Wu stood in front of the door and scanned the people in front of him. He said, "I heard that everyone has been waiting here for several days. You must all be tired. Come, give everyone some tea and steamed buns." As soon as he finished speaking, a servant walked out from behind and handed out tea and steamed buns to everyone. Everyone was moved to tears. Many of the people here were servants of the various residences. They had been waiting outside the Yang residence for the past few days and had not been able to eat or sleep well. Now that they were able to get some tea and steamed buns to quench their thirst, they felt very warm inside. At this moment, Yang Wu spoke again. "I know why you're all here, but you're all gathered here. This has a very bad influence on my Yang residence." Then he continued, "Our Yang manor has been loyal to the Emperor for generations. Our sincerity is as clear as the sky. You've brought so many gifts to block my door. If this were to reach the Emperor's ears, he would think that our Yang family is forming a faction and is trying to rebel." Someone heard this and said, "Marquis Xiaowu, we're just trying to be polite." Yes, we're just trying to be polite. We don't have any other intentions." Someone else agreed. Yang Wu smiled and said, "Very good. As long as you don't have any other intentions, then it's fine. My Yang family does not want to be labeled as corrupt." He paused for a moment and waved his hand behind him. Come, register the gifts from the various residences. From now on, you're all friends of my young family. When we get back, we'll return the gifts to each of your residences." Immediately after, the soldiers of the Death Legion walked into the crowd and collected everyone's gift. No one was seen to register them. The people present didn't mind. Their faces were once again filled with excitement. Since Yang Wu was able to accept their gifts, their hearts were at ease. Their gifts were all written with a gift slip, so they weren't afraid that the Yang mansion wouldn't remember which family they were from. "Marquis Xiaowu, aren't you going to invite us to your residence?" someone asked. "All right, I sincerely invite everyone to my residence. As long as you can get past the guards by my side, you can enter," Yang Wu said with a smile on his face, then turned around and returned to the courtyard. Who was he? He was the dignified Marquis Xiaowu and a heavenly alchemist. How high was his status? Now that the Yang residence had become a Marquis residence again, how could ordinary people enter? Yang Wu did not intend to make things difficult for them. Instead, he planned to establish their Yang residence's prestige. Some officials and wealthy merchants who wanted to curry favor with them would think twice before making a fuss. Those people outside all thought that Yang Wu was approachable, but at this moment, they realized that this young man was a lieutenant general who had returned from the border. He was also a heavenly alchemist who ranked above all the alchemists in Great Xia. How could he make friends with them so easily? It was said that people were divided into 3, 6, and 9 classes. Yang Wu did not have any concept of class, but he still had to abide by some worldly rules. He could not let others think that he was approachable. Otherwise, they would guard their door every day and affect the lives of his family members. Lu Ji replaced Yang Wu and said, "Everyone, don't be sad. My lord is too busy and doesn't have time to greet you one by one. Why don't you all disperse? We will all be friends in the future. If there is a need, I will definitely report to my lord and take care of you first. Don't say any more. I have been guarding for so many days. I really want to enter the Yang residence." After a burly cultivator spoke, he walked towards the door. He released the aura of the general realm and wanted to barge in. "This brother, I advise you not to be impulsive, lest you suffer," Lu Ji advised kindly. That cultivator smiled and said, "If you are my wife, I won't barge in. How about it?" The other party's lecherous eyes swept over Lu Ji, completely treating Lu Ji as a woman in male disguise. Lu Ji's face turned black and he did not say anything more. Very soon, this cultivator suffered a tragedy. There was no need for the Death Legion's commander to take action either. Just one of their subordinates easily beat this cultivator into a pig's head. With this cultivator's outcome, it scared off quite a number of people. However, there were also people who were unconvinced. Some of them came to follow Yang Wu. Being able to follow by a heavenly alchemist's side, their path to becoming a king would definitely be much easier. How could they be scared off like this? Just as those people were about to make a move, Du Guang Buddha clasped his hands together and said, "Amit Ba benefactors, please return. My captain has already accepted your kind intentions, don't be stubborn." With that, he released the powerful Devil Buddha's power from his body, and a majestic king's aura swept out, causing those cultivators who wanted to rush over to vomit blood and fly backwards. Those who were not strong enough were even more frightened, but fortunately, Du Guang Buddha did not deliberately target them. At this moment, everyone knew that the Yang mansion already had a powerful expert guarding it, and not just anyone could be impudent here. As a result, most of the people present left, and only a few people were still unwilling to leave. One of them said, "I am an alchemist. I want to follow Heavenly Master Yang. Please make an exception and let me enter the Yang mansion." This was an old man with a very ordinary appearance. He was indeed wearing an alchemist's robe, and looked like an alchemist. "You are the quasi-medicine king, Gung Jian?" a middle-aged man asked the old man. The old man glanced at the middle-aged man and replied, That's right, I am Gung Jian. Who are you? Haha, I am Guo Xiafei. The middle-aged man laughed. The middle-aged man was wearing a light gray robe with a long sword on his back and a wine gourd in his hand. He had the aura of a swordsman. When the people around him heard his name, they instantly felt deep veneration for him. Guo Xiafei was a king tier who had been famous for a long time. It was rumored that he already had the potential to enter the top 10 king tiers. This was enough to show how strong he was. The most praiseworthy thing was not his strength, but his chivalrous heart. He was truly a good person. So it is Hero Guo. Gung Jian cupped his hands towards Guo Xiafei. Alchemist Gung is too polite. Let us think about how to enter the Yang mansion. Guo Xiafei replied. Without waiting for Gung Jian to reply, Lu Ji said, Don't be anxious. Let me verify your identities first, then I will consider whether or not to let you enter the mansion. Lu Ji walked down and asked Gung Yao, Old sir, can you tell me about your situation? We all came back from the border and are not familiar with you. We also want to know why you want to see my lord. Gung Yao said without thinking, I am a quasi-medicine king. Unfortunately, I have never been able to become a true medicine king. I want to follow the Heavenly Master Marquis and hope to receive some guidance. As long as I can become a medicine king, I am willing to follow the Heavenly Master Marquis. Gung Yao was a well-known figure in the royal city. He was a self-taught alchemist. The Medicine King's pavilion had tried to recruit him many times, but to no avail. After Lu Ji heard this, he nodded and asked Guo Xiafei a similar question. Guo Xiafei also answered truthfully. He was a rogue cultivator, and being able to reach the high-level king realm was already his limit. It would not be easy for him to go any higher. Yang Wu's appearance gave him hope. The others were Pang Yuan, Huang Changjian, Lin Kai, and Xu Luoqiu. They all had different abilities and wanted to join the Yang mansion. After Lu Ji asked similar questions, he announced, Everyone, let's go in together. Whether or not you can follow my lord will depend on your ability. The 6 people present were overjoyed. They did not think that they would get the chance to meet Yang Wu so easily. In reality, this was the result of Yang Wu and Lu Ji's discussion. It was time for them to add some reliable people. Chapter 371. Inside the Yang Manor's main hall, Yang Wu was calmly drinking tea. His face had a charming smile that could make all the girls in the world fall in love with him. The original Yang Wu was not that handsome, but after going through tempering again and again, his appearance and body had undergone earth-shattering changes. His temperament was also completely different. Yang Karen, who was waiting on him by the side, had a mesmerized look in her eyes. Yang Karen was praised as the #1 voice prostitute in a short period of time. Aside from her powerful voice, she was also beautiful and had a graceful figure. Especially after strengthening her cultivation, no one would think that she had the life of a servant, but rather the identity of a rich family's young miss. In fact, this was not the case. A young miss with the life of a servant was nothing more than this. Sister Karen, father has already recovered and his strength will continue to improve. You can leave without worry. Yang Wu said to Yang Karen, who was standing properly. Yang Karen replied, Young master, are you in such a hurry to let me leave? Her appearance was lovely and moving, causing people to feel pity for her. Yang Wu said, What are you saying? If possible, I hope that Sister Karen can stay in this family for the rest of your life, but this way of thinking is too selfish. Sister Karen, you already have a better home, so we can only support you. I only want to say that if you are not happy outside, this family welcomes you back at any time. Yang Karen said with a bitter smile, I'm sorry. She wanted to say that she really did not want to leave. She only wanted to stay here for the rest of her life. When the Yang family was in trouble, she had already promised her master that once the Yang family's matter was resolved, she would leave here and go to the transcendent world to cultivate. If she went back on her word, the Yang family would suffer retaliation. She did not believe that the Yang family had the ability to resist. Moreover, she wanted to enter the transcendent world and cultivate well, protecting the Yang family. This was something that she would never change. She only hoped that the Yang family could understand. Yang Wu had grown up with Yang Karen. Even though she had always been an introverted person, he could understand her feelings. He did not blame her for her choice. He also believed that his parents could understand. At this time, Lu Ji brought Guo Xiafei, Geng Jian, Pang Yuan, Huang Changjian, Lin Kai, and Shu Luoqiu to the main hall. "Master, they're here." Lu Ji said this and then quietly stood beside Yang Wu's side. He looked like he respected Yang Wu, abiding by his duty. Guo Xiafei, Geng Jian, and the rest saluted Yang Wu. "Greetings, Marquis Xiaowu." Yang Wu's name. Yang Wu. "You may dispense with the formalities, but Sister Rin asked the servants to serve tea." Yang Wu instructed. Yang Karen nodded and quietly retreated, letting the servants serve tea for everyone. Lu Ji's gaze followed Yang Karen far away. His infatuation was obvious. Unfortunately, Yang Karen didn't even look at him. This made him feel very hurt. "Marquis Xiaowu, I want to worship you as my master." Geng Jian knelt down and shouted to Yang Wu. An old man like him shouting to a young man to worship him as his master. He really lived up to the saying, shameless. Yang Wu smiled bitterly. "Don't get excited. I don't know you yet." Lu Ji hurriedly introduced Geng Jian to Yang Wu. He also introduced the other 5 people together. Geng Jian waited for Lu Ji to finish speaking before speaking again. "I ask Marquis Xiaowu to fulfill my wish. Otherwise, I will kneel here for a long time." Yang Wu patted his forehead and said, "Geng Jian, right? It's useless for you to threaten me like this. This Marquis has risen from the ranks of the Death Legion. My hands are stained with the blood of countless people. The barbarians were scared out of their wits by me. You should stand up and speak." After Geng Jian heard Yang Wu's words, he stood up with a "so" sound. His old face was completely red as he muttered in his heart, "How come the methods in the book don't work? Marquis Xiaowu, I am a quasi-medicine king. As long as you give me some pointers, I can become a medicine king. You won't lose out by having me as your disciple." Geng Jian's face was still very thick. "You're already so old. I'm afraid your life will be shortened if you become my disciple. If you don't mind, you can stay in my Yang mansion as an alchemy deacon. If you do well, I'll help you become a medicine king within a year." Yang Wu's finger lightly tapped on the armrest of the chair. "Many thanks to Marquis Xiaowu for taking me in." Geng Jian didn't haggle and very obediently expressed his thanks. He didn't have any extravagant hopes of becoming Yang Wu's disciple. As long as he could stay in the Yang mansion, it would be a great fortune for him. The others couldn't sit still. Huang Changjian opened his mouth and said, "Marquis Xiaowu, I also want to stay in the Yang mansion to serve you." Shu Luoqiu also said succinctly, "I'm willing to serve you like a dog or horse." Yang Wu glanced at them and said, "My Yang mansion doesn't accept useless people. If you have any specialties, feel free to say them." Huang Changjian cleared his throat and said, "Marquis Xiaowu, I'm good at business and can help the Yang mansion manage all kinds of businesses and increase the Yang mansion's income. My Huang family was once one of the top business families in the imperial city, but because the power behind it lost its influence, it completely declined. I, Huang Changjian, have no place to display my talent in business, so I came to the Yang family to serve you. I don't know if Marquis Xiaowu is willing to trust this little one's ability?" Huang Changjian's body was robust and looked to be around 45 years old. For someone who practiced martial arts, this was the prime of their life. He called himself a merchant, but he didn't have the slightest bit of a merchant's aura. Instead, it was Lin Kai who was beside him, who was fat and dressed luxuriously, that made him look more like a merchant. "What business can my Yang family have for you to manage?" Yang Wu spread his hands and said. Huang Chongjian smiled and said, Marquis Xiaowu, you are a dignified heavenly master. How many people would beg you to refine pills for them? Haven't you thought about selling pills and increasing the Yang Mansion's prestige? That seems to make a bit of sense. Yang Wu hesitated and said. At this moment, Lin Kai opened his mouth and said, In this aspect, our Lin family can help you. I believe that Marquis Xiaowu has heard of the Lin Family Trading Company? The Lin Family Trading Company is one of the top trading companies in our Grand Xia. Of course I have heard of it, Yang Wu replied in astonishment. The Lin Family Trading Company's businesses were spread throughout the various cities of the Grand Xia. Some of their businesses had even expanded to other countries. This was a rather influential trading company, and they had a very large network of connections with many powers. This was also the reason why their business was so prosperous. Lin Kai revealed a typical merchant's smile and said, It's good that Marquis Xiaowu has heard of it. We are willing to cooperate with you and sell all kinds of pills to various places. We will give you the lowest discount and take only 5% of the commission. What do you think? Huang Chongjian's eyes flickered, but he wasn't in a hurry to speak. Yang Wu asked, Your Lin Family Trading Company also cooperates with the Medicine King's Pavilion, right? Lin Kai smiled slightly and said, The Medicine King's Pavilion is rich and overbearing. They have their own channels and don't need to cooperate with our Lin family. In fact, the Lin family's businesses were shrinking rapidly in the Grand Xia precisely because of the Medicine King's Pavilion. In the past, the Medicine King's Pavilion had cooperated with them, and it was considered quite good. However, as the Medicine King's Pavilion grew larger and larger, they established another sales channel and pills became the best-selling product. The Lin family had no pills to sell and naturally suffered a huge blow. In addition, the Medicine King's Pavilion was also involved in other businesses and controlled most of the businesses in the royal city. They forcefully squeezed out the Lin family's business share and had already caused the Lin family to face a considerable crisis. This was also the reason why the Lin family had said that they would try to win over Yang Wu at all costs. As long as Yang Wu supported the Lin family's businesses would recover in the near future. Who didn't know that Yang Wu and the Medicine King's Pavilion were already at loggerheads? Sooner or later, a conflict would erupt between the two. Taking advantage of the time when Yang Wu needed help, the Lin family had to make a choice. Otherwise, in the future, the Lin family would have nothing to do with the Medicine King's Pavilion. Yang Wu then looked at Shu Luoqiu and asked, What can you do? Shu Luoqiu was a person dressed in black. His expression was always calm, as if everyone owed him a few hundred taels of silver. He held a sword in front of his chest and had the appearance of a proud and aloof swordsman. Shu Luoqiu said softly, Stealth assassination. After pausing for a moment, he added, I need a king pill, and my life is yours. Yang Wu ignored Shu Luoqiu and looked at Guoxiafei with a smile. You're already a high-level king. You're one of the top experts in the Grand Xia. What do you want? Guoxiafei laughed lightly. Haha, your father and I are old friends. This time, apart from meeting Marquis Xiaowu Fengkai, I also wanted to catch up with Brother Jinan. Oh, so you're an old friend of my father. Then you'll have to wait a bit longer. My father is still in closed-door cultivation, Yang Wu replied. Before this, Yang Jinan had already recovered his strength, but that didn't mean that the heaven pill's effects had run out. There was still a large amount of medicinal energy waiting for him to digest. This was also why he was still in closed-door cultivation. Guoxiafei waved his hand and said, It's fine, it's fine. Being able to meet a heavenly master marquis is also a great fortune. Yang Wu said, Then stay for a few more days. Wait for my father to come out of closed-door cultivation, then you can catch up. Yang Wu wasn't afraid of Guoxiafei causing trouble. Even though Guoxiafei wasn't weak, in his eyes, it wasn't enough. Following this, he said to Lin Kai, You can discuss your matter with my Grand Master. If you're sincere, I don't mind cooperating with your Lin clan. Huang Chongjin said, Why don't you let me try? After pausing for a moment, he said to Lin Kai, Do you know the Huang clan auction house? Lin Kai's eyes narrowed as he cried out in shock. The Huang clan auction house that was directly wiped out by the Medicine King Pavilion 10 years ago? Huang Chongjin's eyes were filled with deep hatred as he said, That's right. My Huang clan and the Medicine King Pavilion have an irreconcilable enmity. In the next moment, he knelt down on one knee in front of Yang Wu and said, Marquis Xiaowu, you and the Medicine King Pavilion have already shed all pretense of cordiality. This matter is known to everyone. They definitely won't let this matter rest. My Huang clan offended the Medicine King Pavilion in the past and was almost completely wiped out. I ask Marquis Xiaowu to take me in. I will definitely be able to establish the largest auction house and compete with the Medicine King Pavilion's auction house. Chapter 372. In the past, the Huang family auction house was the largest auction house in King City. Their reputation was very good, and the items they auctioned were very honest. The commission they took was also very reasonable, winning the trust of everyone. Unfortunately, because they offended the Medicine King's Pavilion, they were uprooted overnight. This faction that had a good relationship with them did not even dare to say a word. At that time, Huang Chongjian was only a young man. He had only just started the auction business when he faced the tragedy of losing his family. This was a huge blow to him. In these 10 years, there was not a moment when he did not want to take revenge. Unfortunately, the Medicine King's Pavilion was getting stronger and stronger, and he could not see the slightest chance of revenge. This time, Yang Wu suddenly slapped the Medicine King's Pavilion in the face. Only then did Huang Chongjian see a glimmer of hope. Perhaps Yang Wu was the one who could help him take revenge. He built the auction house for the Yang family with his own intentions. Yang Wu was not a fool. Huang Chongjian's expression was so clear that he immediately knew the other's intentions. However, he had no choice but to accept such a person. It was just like the saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's fine if you want to use me to take revenge, but you must work for me loyally. If you have any ulterior motives, no one can protect you. Yang Wu said sternly. After saying this, a powerful aura was released from his body. The entire hall was filled with a suffocating feeling. Even a king-level figure like Guo Xiafei felt the pressure. Count Xiaowu is so strong. The same thought appeared in everyone's mind. Huang Chongjian said with a determined expression, I will not disappoint the Marquis. If I have any thoughts of betrayal, let me be struck by lightning and die. There were not many people left in the Huang family. Not only did he want to take revenge, but he also wanted to find a way out for the Huang family. How could he dare to act rashly? Good. Later, you, the beautiful advisor, and this steward Lin will discuss business matters together. Yang Wu nodded. Then his gaze fell on the ugly man and asked, What do you want to do here? This man was really ugly. His eyes were sunken in, his nose was like an eagle's hook, his lips were extremely thick, and his clothes were sloppy. He was even more unsightly than Gung Jian. No matter who saw him, they would find him an eyesore at first glance. It must have been hard on him to be so ugly. The ugly man's eyes revealed a bit of pride as he replied, I know strategy and can be the head advisor of the Yang residents. Lu Ji couldn't take it anymore. He immediately said, Pang Yuan, so you're here to steal my job. Pang Yuan grinned with his yellow teeth and replied, If I have the real stuff, why would I be afraid of being robbed? Yang Wu had never been one to judge a book by its cover, but not only was Pang Yuan ugly, but he also had bad breath, which made him unable to see clearly. He hurriedly waved his hand and said, My family already has a Grand Master, so we don't lack one for the time being. You can go back first. Pang Yuan's pupils constricted as displeasure appeared on his face. He opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but in the end, he didn't say anything. He revealed an extremely disappointed expression and turned around with the intention of leaving. Lu Ji hurriedly went forward and pulled Pang Yuan back, saying, "Pang Yuan, don't be in such a hurry to leave. You can stay and be my assistant." "Humph, your lord is blind and doesn't like me. What's the use of me staying?" Pang Yuan said in an extremely angry tone. "How could that be? My lord is just thinking for my sake. If you, Pang Yuan, are stronger than me, my lord will treat you well," Lu Ji replied. At the same time, he kept giving Yang Wu meaningful glances, indicating for Yang Wu to speak up and persuade Pang Yuan to stay. Yang Wu didn't know why Lu Ji was trying so hard to persuade Pang Yuan to stay, but he still said, "You can stay for now. If your strategy is truly outstanding, this marquis will naturally put you in an important position." Pang Yuan said rather proudly, "I, Pang Yuan, am unyielding and unyielding. Why would I need your pity? Then if I bestow upon you an acupoint opening pill, would you like it?" Yang Wu asked. Pang Yuan immediately turned around and bowed to Yang Wu, saying, "Pang Yuan greets my lord. May my lord live for thousands of years." Everyone present instantly wanted to vomit. What happened to being unyielding and unyielding? What happened to not needing pity? In the blink of an eye, he was bending at the waist for a pill. This guy really had no backbone. Yang Wu was also speechless. He hurriedly waved his hand and said, "You can be Lu Ji's subordinate for now. If he says you're qualified, then you can stay. If you're not, then you can leave. My Yang residence doesn't keep idle people." Pang Yuan revealed a smile that was uglier than crying, saying, "My lord, you can rest assured. I, Pang Yuan, know astronomy, geography, the 8 trigrams, and the 5 elements. I'm proficient in everything. Stop bragging. If you keep bragging, the sky will collapse." Yang Wu interrupted. He discovered that each of these strategists really knew how to brag. Yang Wu asked people to prepare a banquet and ate with these people. At the same time, he further understood the situation of these people. Geng Jian had come to become the king of medicine. Guo Xiafei had come to reminisce on the surface, but in reality, he probably had other plans. Huang Changjian had pledged his loyalty for revenge. Lin Kai had come for business interests. Shu Luoqiu had come to follow him to become the king of medicine. Pang Yuan had come to display his talent. These 6 people had different purposes and different skills. Yang Wu took them in to strengthen the strength of the Yang family, and at the same time, to develop his own team. Among these people, he didn't know who was a useful talent. He had to observe for a few more days to figure it out. With the momentum of the Yang family, the Yang residence was constantly expanding. Some of the surrounding land and houses had already been bought. The Death Legion's people were supervising the construction of courtyards and pavilions. While the Yang family was expanding in full swing, a major event happened in the city. Yang Wu's enthusiasm for becoming a marquis was submerged. That was, Prince Fuan and Prime Minister Song wanted to unite by marriage. This news was very explosive. Prince Fuan had the royal blood and was a prince. Prime Minister Song was the first prime minister and had the rank of marquis. They were all powerful figures. So, at this time, they suddenly announced their marriage, which really made people's imagination run wild. Generally speaking, with their status, they will not easily unite by marriage. It was inevitable that the emperor would have some ideas. But they already did it, as if they were not afraid of those gossips. In fact, it's not that they were not afraid, but their current situation was very bad. They must unite to deter their enemies. In addition, they naturally had other plans. Since Yang Wu returned, Tang Jiaoyan and Song Yuming didn't dare to go out half a step. They were afraid of being retaliated by Yang Wu. But now, after the 2 families announced their marriage, as long as they get married, they should be able to make Yang Wu worry about them. So, they went out with ease. During this period of time, they could be said to be suffocated. Each of them took their own attendants, and dozens of people went out of the imperial city. This time, they were all on guard to see if Yang Wu will send people to deal with them. But after a day, they didn't find anything, so they relaxed. On the way back, Tang Jiaoyan was riding on a fine colt. She was dressed in gorgeous clothes and looked like a flower in the middle of a competition. She was quite dazzling. From time to time, she would let out a bell-like laughter. Her mood was quite happy. Song Yuming was riding on a handsome black horse. He smiled and said, "Junju, this time you can rest assured. That little bastard will not dare to do anything to us. If he dares to deal with us, his Yang family will be destroyed." Tang Jiaoyan smiled proudly. "Yes, after we get married. He can only live with his tail between his legs." Song Yuming responded. Tang Jiaoyan asked, "When will your eldest sister and second brother come back?" "Before we get married, they will definitely come back," Song Yuming replied. After pausing for a moment, he added, "My sister already has the strength of a king. She's a peerless genius in the transcendent realm. When she returns, I'll have her suppress that little bastard and resolve any future problems. How great would it be if we can also enter the transcendent world?" Tang Jiaoyan said yearningly. "Isn't that simple? When my eldest sister comes back, let her bring us in." "Okay, you said it. We will see more young talents there. Just thinking about it makes me burst with joy." Song Yuming suddenly felt a little green on his forehead. Just as he was about to say something, he saw an army rushing in their direction. This army was riding incomparably majestic horses, and their running speed was extremely fast, causing a thick cloud of dust to rise from the ground. The person in the lead shouted, "Get out of the way, do not obstruct our army's official business, or else we will kill without mercy." "Kill without mercy!" The other people in the army shouted in unison. There were 500 people in this army. All of them had the strength of a general. The power of this army was really scary. Those bodyguards in front of Tang Jiaoyan and Song Yuming were so scared that they trembled. The weapons in their hands fell to the ground. The leader shouted, "You are so bold. We are from Fu'an Prefecture. This is our princess." The strength of the leader was not bad. He was already a top general. His composure was quite good. "I don't care who you are. If you don't get out of the way, I will treat you as an enemy." The army shouted again. 500 horses rushed over. The soldiers were releasing a strong murderous aura. They were all people who had seen blood on the battlefield. How could ordinary people resist them? "Princess, young Master Song, quickly get out of the way. They are from the army. We should quickly get out of the way." Seeing the army rushing over, the leader no longer shouted. He hurriedly escorted Tang Jiaoyan and Song Yuming to the side. Tang Jiaoyan and Song Yuming had never seen such a scene. They were so scared that they screamed and took the lead to run away. As a result, they were stopped by their own people. Not only did they step on their own people, but they also tripped and fell to the ground. At this time, the army had already rushed in front of them. The horses' hooves jumped high and trampled towards them. "No, I don't want to die. I don't want to die." Tang Jiaoyan, who fell in the crowd, felt the threat of death and hurriedly shouted. Song Yuming was no better than Tang Jiaoyan. He shouted, "My father is Prime Minister Song. My father is Prime Minister Song. Get out of the way." Chapter 373. Tang Jiaoyan and Song Yuming had always been the top young ladies and young masters in Royal City. Wherever they went, people would always make way for them. No one dared to make them give way. This time, they suddenly encountered such a dangerous attack outside the city. It was definitely the first time. Tang Jiaoyan and Song Yuming both fell from their horses at the same time. Facing the attack of hundreds of soldiers, they felt like they were about to die. They had quite a number of followers, but compared to the regular army, they were like a sheet of loose sand. They were unable to form any resistance at all. Even the leader of the army was powerless to do anything. They were scattered by the army and could only watch as hundreds of horses rushed over Tang Jiaoyan and Song Yuming. They were so scared that they almost peed their pants on the spot. If anything happened to these two, they would only have a dead end. Fortunately, these soldiers were well trained. Under the strong attack, many horses jumped over Tang Jiaoyan and Song Yuming and did not trample them to death on the spot. Dong dong! The sound of many horses' hooves was like thunder, one after another. This scene was absolutely thrilling. If there was the slightest mistake and the horses were not in sync, the two of them would be trampled into meat paste. Tang Jiaoyan and Song Yuming both held their heads. Their minds were blank, they felt like they were going to die. When the soldiers of the army were far away, they shrank in place and kept crying. They were really scared out of their wit. The leader carefully walked over and said, "Princess, young Master Song, they have gone far away. It's okay, it's okay." After the leader shouted for a while, Song Yuming was the first to come back to his senses. He raised his head and found that he was fine. His expression eased a little, but tears were still flowing from the corners of his eyes. His crotch was already wet, and the smell of urine filled the air. I'm okay?" Song Yuming did not realize his sorry state and said to himself in a daze, it's okay, it's okay. They have all passed." The leader comforted him again. Song Yuming completely came back to his senses. He stood up and raised his hand to slap the leader. "Pa!" A crisp sound rang on the spot. The leader didn't dare to dodge at all. He could only take the slap. Song Yuming pointed at him and scolded, "Trash, you let those people humiliate us like this." The leader did not dare to respond. He knelt down and begged for mercy. "Please forgive us, young Master Song. Please forgive us." The other followers also knelt down. They did not dare to breathe. They were terrified. Song Yuming wanted to continue scolding, but he remembered Tang Jiaoyan. He quickly walked to her and hugged her in his arms, comforting her. "Princess, it's okay, it's okay. Don't be afraid, I'm here." "Boo-hoo. I thought I was going to die." Tang Jiaoyan leaned into Song Yuming's arms and cried loudly. She felt so wronged. It's fine, it's fine. Let's go back first. We must find out who they are and tear them to shreds," Song Yuming said with a strong hatred. At that moment, he smelled a foul odor. He looked down and saw that there were water stains near Tang Jiaoyan's position. Just as he was about to pinch his nose, Tang Jiaoyan said, "Brother Yuming, you've wet yourself." Song Yuming looked at his crotch. His old face turned red and said, "You peed too." Just as he finished speaking, Tang Jiaoyan's hand had already slapped his face. "Pa!" Song Yuming was in so much pain that he wanted to cry. Was it wrong to speak the truth? Under the escort of a group of attendants, Tang Jiaoyan and Song Yuming quickly returned to King City. They didn't immediately return to their respective residences as they were afraid that they would be laughed at by their families. Instead, they went to the Drunken Immortal Inn, booked a room, and ordered the servants to buy clothes for them. They would first calm down and change their clothes before returning. The two of them were already prepared to get married and could be considered as fiancé and wife, but they still did not dare to change their clothes together in the same room in the main hall with so many people present. The two of them were separated into 2 heavenly rooms, and they were even changing in adjacent rooms. After Song Yuming returned to his room, he kicked over a chair and said angrily, "Who is so bold to come at us? Could it be that Yang Wu has started to make a move?" Thinking of this, he couldn't wait to tear Yang Wu's body into pieces. Thinking of Tang Jiaoyan's fickle appearance, his anger rose to his head. The more he spent time with Tang Jiaoyan, the more he found that she was a slut. If he really married her, he was afraid that he would be cuckolded. However, he had no choice but to marry this woman. Firstly, he had already tasted her body. That taste was indeed indescribable. Secondly, for their Song family, he had to do it. Forget it, it's useless to think too much. It's the same if I take 3 wives and 4 concubines in the future," Song Yuming said to himself. He took off his dusty clothes and threw his wet pants far away. Just as Song Yuming was about to take off his clothes, his room's door was knocked open. Song Yuming had just recovered from his shock when he was shocked again. He turned around and cursed, "Who is so bold to break in?" Before he could finish cursing, his voice caught and he did not continue. At the same time, his eyes were wide open as if his eyeballs were about to pop out. "Young master, can I hide in your room? Someone wants to humiliate me," a delicate woman pleaded to Song Yuming. This woman was a mature-looking young woman. Her clothes were messy, and some parts of her body that shouldn't be exposed were exposed. Her delicate white skin and voluptuous figure were absolutely irresistible to any young man. Song Yuming did not have any other preferences except for young women. The young woman in front of him, whether it was her appearance or body, was impeccable. There was a fire in his body that immediately surged. He swallowed his saliva and said, "No problem, this young master will protect you." "Then many thanks, young master. Young master is really a good person," the young woman said gratefully. Then, she tidied up her clothes. At the same time, she glanced at Song Yuming and could not help but praise, "Young master is really handsome. Your body is really good. I like it very much." Finished speaking, she turned her face away. Her cheeks were flushed red as if she was embarrassed to say such words. Song Yuming was instantly elated. He quickly straightened his chest and said, "You have good taste. This young master is the son of the current Prime Minister Song. I will be the future Prime Minister. Naturally, I look wise and powerful. In my room, no one can hurt you. Outside the door are all my guards." When he said this, he did not think that this woman would be able to get past his guards. She did not even know that a perverted knife was hanging over her head. "Really?" the young woman said, half believing and half doubting. "Of course it's true." Song Yuming patted his chest and said, "Then I ask young Master Song to protect me. This servant is willing to be your slave. I will do whatever you want me to do." The young woman suddenly threw herself in front of Song Yuming and said delicately. Her towering breasts were about to burst out. Song Yuming's nose was about to bleed. He could not help but take her into his arms and said, "Don't be afraid. This young master will protect you." Finished speaking, this guy's perverted pig hands could not help but move around the young woman's body. "Young master, don't." The young woman softly moaned. Her body was like a snake twisting and turning. She revealed an expression of wanting to resist but also wanting to resist. Song Yuming was very tempted. Song Yuming had already thrown the previous matter out of his mind. He even forgot about Tang Jiaoyan. On the spot, he pushed the young woman down on the bed. Something indescribable happened. Next door, Tang Jiaoyan was too frightened. In the room, there was a maid guarding her at all times. She comforted her and prevented her from doing anything excessive. Tang Jiaoyan was really too frightened. Even now, her body was still trembling. Her appearance was really pitiful. The maid's mouth was dry. She had no way to comfort Tang Jiaoyan. She could only wait for her clothes to arrive and change before going back to have the prince comfort her. At this time, a burst of screams came from the next room. This voice was not soft. As long as one was not deaf, they could hear it. "Where did this cat cry come from? It's really annoying," the maid softly scolded. This maid was only 14 or 15 years old. She did not know what this cry was. Instead, after Tang Jiaoyan heard this cry, she reacted. Because she had already tasted the forbidden fruit, she already knew what this cry was. This cry aroused Tang Jiaoyan's amorous heart. She pointed to the side and asked, "Does young Master Song live in this room?" The maid repeatedly nodded and said, replying to Princess, "Young Master Song seems to live over there." Yes. "What do you mean, seems?" Tang Jiaoyan sternly said. The maid was so frightened that she trembled and said, Yes, he is next to you." This time, Tang Jiaoyan frowned. A burst of anger rushed to her heart. She walked towards the door. The maid was puzzled. She could only quickly follow. After they left the room, there were guards outside the door who bowed to salute them. Tang Jiaoyan did not pay attention to these guards and walked to the next room. There were also guards here, but the guards here seemed to be listening to some moving music by the door. "Get out of the way!" Tang Jiaoyan angrily shouted. The guards were so frightened that they trembled and quickly moved out of the way. Tang Jiaoyan raised her foot and kicked the door. Bang! When the door was opened, the man and woman who were passionately making out in the room were shocked. Especially the man, who was at the most critical moment. In an instant, he leaked 1,000 miles away. That thing was most likely going to be completely impotent. Tang Jiaoyan rushed in and saw Song Yuming and a young woman lying naked on the bed. Her eyes were about to burst into flames. She loudly cursed, "Song Yuming, you deserve to die." Song Yuming was so scared that he peed his pants again. He rolled and crawled out of the bed and begged, "Princess, listen to me." Before he could finish, Tang Jiaoyan had already pounced on the young woman and began to fight with her. "You slut, I will tear you apart first."